Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? Some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Very good morning to you. It is 5 minutes past 6 o'clock, Monday, September the 8th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. I'm Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist is with us live in the studio this morning. Morning, Coisty.
A very good morning to you, Jeff. How's your weekend, my friend?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. I went, had a few days away in Portugal. Thank you, by the way, for everybody who got in touch with me, concerned that I disappeared last Tuesday for the final 15 minutes of the show.
One of them was my good old mate up the road there, Ali. Ali was concerned about you, mate.
Yeah, and so many of them. I went away to Portugal for a few days, which was lovely. The downside was that in my apartment I was watching or trying to watch England-Andorra. But the picture kept freezing.
Well, there's a bonus.
And the daft thing was when it unfroze, nothing had happened.
That beggars a question. I was just about to ask you, how did you know that it frozen?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I didn't watch
games
it.
like that give international breaks a bad reputation.
Well, I didn't watch it, Jeff, and I very, very nearly said I watched the highlights.
Yeah.
We had a good result, actually. Denmark.
Yeah, great result. Yeah.
Could have nicked it.
Yeah.
Couple of chances. Christie's a good chance with a header. Lyndon Dykes should have hit one earlier. But if you'd offered us a point over there, opening game, we'd have taken it.
Absolutely. And, I watched Northern Ireland last night. Losing Germany.
Yes.
They played really
right.
well. They played
Does well, Michael, doesn't he? His team.
Very, very young side.
Yeah.
And there was a lot to like about them. I mean, it was a pretty good sporting day, wasn't it, yesterday? I watched the tennis last night.
I watched that cricket.
Oh, my goodness.
But, I mean, that must be one of the best performances they've put in years.
Yeah.
I mean, centuries floating about. Jacob Bethel, Joe Root were brilliant.
I couldn't believe that was his first professional century.
Incredible, wasn't it?
You know?
The way he was hitting that ball, you'd have thought he'd been there for years and years and years.
Yeah.
I just thought different class, and then the bowlers just come in and blew him away.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely blew him away.
Go on.
I just saw start of the tennis because I was flying down. He looked on a different level.
Alcaraz, mate.
He just looked on a different level.
Alcaraz was absolutely incredible. I think there was a stat late in the game that Sinner had only had one break point in the entire match.
That's unbelievable,
on the
isn't it?
Alcaraz serve. And he'd taken the break point. That was when he got the break in the second set. Alcaraz was phenomenal, completely different level. His serving was incredible in his athleticism. And I just wondered, and I might be completely wrong, I just wondered whether
That's
was
the
the
sign.
moment where there was some separation between the two of them, and he may dominate in future. But we'll see.
Nah, but you watched it. I'm just not so sure. I think Sinner's got the ability to come back.
Yeah.
What else did we have? Formula One. Italian Grand Prix it was as well. It's funny though, isn't it? I'm saying the same as you. I'm not sure whether you're the same opinion. You miss the top flight football. I know there's an international break. I get all that. But you do miss the top flight football, don't you? You really do.
Oh, yeah, you do. Just one quick text. I'm going to mention it now. I was going to mention it later. But Agent Iron says, morning, guys. Non-league drama to kick things off. We'd love to know your opinions on Scunthorpe Wealdstone abandoned on Saturday. Absolute shambles from Wealdstone. I don't know if you saw.
No, I didn't.
What happened? Okay. So Wealdstone are playing away at Scunthorpe. There's a few minutes of the game to go. They're losing by 2-1. When one of their players goes down, injured. Now, it's turned out, I think it was a dislocated shoulder, something like that. The Wealdstone players went off and did not reappear. Now, Andy Butler, the Scunthorpe manager, said afterwards, he said the referee wanted them to return to finish the game. The league, the National League, wanted them to return to finish the game. Their manager wanted them to return to finish the game. But for some reason, the Wealdstone players refused to return to the match. They said, the word came out, they were mentally not right after seeing what happened to their teammates. But, this was not a career-threatening horror injury. It might have looked awful at the time, but so that was it. The game was abandoned.
That's bizarre.
It is bizarre.
And it was a dislocation of his shoulder.
Yeah, I think it's a dislocation of his shoulder. And the irony is,
It's unbelievable. I've heard and we've seen reactions to like broken legs and things like that when we've seen horrendous ones. But I don't know about the broken.
I fear the worst. I
shoulder.
fear the worst for them.
Throw the book at them, won't they?
I think there probably will be. And for Scunthorpe, it's no laughing matter. But their previous game, which was at Eastleigh, was abandoned in added time as well. But that was because there was a clash of heads between two players, and that was serious, So the referee abandoned that match. So they've had two successive matches abandoned in the dying minutes of games. It's bizarre.
That's incredible, really.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see what the National League do about Wealdstone. We shall see. Somebody's texted said, Jeff, you're turning into Alan. How much music do we need to listen to before you start the show? Come on, mate. Hey, let's get back to being professional.
Let me tell you, you've got a long way before you've turned into Alan.
Yeah.
I've been sitting here at 9 minutes past 6 without music blaring, believe me.
And trust me, it's anonymous, but I'm trying to juggle 2 iPads, some screens in front of me, an earpiece. That's my excuse. I was on time. I was here ready.
Oh, we've no doubt about it. I'll back you up, mate.
So, look, England continued on their way to the 2026 World Cup with another, well, it says here, routine win. Boring, rotten win over Andorra. It was a change of setting for England as Villa Park played host. Consequently, loads of Villa fans had to suffer it. It was the same old dull affair.
Now he's got 10 matches over 9 months to get it right before the real business starts.
Not everything came off today, but I feel like when you play against a stubborn team, you have to have that mindset of I'm just going to get the ball and go.
So many more progressive passes into the final third than we've probably seen in any game under Tuchel so far.
And he's taken a touch of an Andorran defender to beat his goalkeeper and give England the lead.
One of their players plays in the equivalent of National League North. So how on earth is it just 1-0 and that was an own goal?
We could have had life easier, but overall, where it was possible, I think it was a much better performance than in June.
Kane making an early run, it's Rice coming around the back, and he's headed it in for 2. Much better than the 2 displays in June. Clearly still a lot to work on.
If we win the World Cup, nobody's going to remember a dull 2-0 against Andorra. But Thomas Tuchel had said to us, it's time to start showing the fans. For me, that really hasn't happened.
Well, that was Adrian, by the way. There's some good players in the National League North. What's your tongue?
I saw the hairs in the back of your neck bristle up there immediately at that comment. I don't have a smile on my face.
Well, look, we talked about the supporters there. David's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. He got involved after the game and claimed that watching the game was like punishment. Have a listen to this.
The build-up was fine. The atmosphere was good until 10, 15 minutes in, and it's what we've seen over the last few months of Thomas Tuchel. It's boring. We left after 80 minutes. I thought I was treating the kids to a day out watching England, but I think they feel like I punished them. Everybody felt the same. Everybody was chanting the same thing. This is terrible. 3 guys walked in front of me. They'd just gone for the caps. That's it. That's all they'd gone for.
Listening to Thomas Tuchel saying, well, there was a lot of improvement there, and I think Jim Proudfoot said there was a lot of improvement as well. Are you seeing it?
Right, I've got to try and be objective rather than laugh at you lot with that. Right? I'm looking at your team, right, and he plays Reece James and Lewis Skelly, and straight away, you're a bit attack-minded there. And then you've got Declan and Elliot Anderson, middle of the park. I mean, your front 4, Madueke, Eze, Rashford and Kane. He brings on Anthony Gordon, Morgan Rogers, Gibbs White. I mean, there's some attack-minded players on that side, right? Let's be honest about it. And I get it. The buck has to stop and will always continue to stop with the manager and the coach. But if there's players not got to take a wee bit of responsibility as well, really, surely they must take a little bit of responsibility. I mean, you've won the game 2-0. See, the one thing about England is you can never. I think I struggle to gauge watching England in any qualifying for any major competition because they always do it with relative ease, right? And I get that. So,
well, they can't help but do it with relative ease with the group.
Yes. So then what do the fans look for? And they're entitled to a level of performance, right? Which clearly they never got at the weekend against the Andorra side. So, I mean, it's then flip side of the coin. And I know you're talking about Germany beating Northern Ireland. They've lost their opening game away 2-0 to Slovakia. So I understand, and I get you're looking for a level performance and you want to see better football. But you've won the game, kept a clean sheet, move on.
No, Coisty, I'm not having that. Portugal scored. Look, they talk about we got up against teams with a low block. It's so they're difficult to break down. Oh, give me a break. Portugal scored 5 in an hour against Armenia. Italy scored 5 against Estonia.
And they were struggling though.
Greece.
Oh, wait a minute. I was waiting. Actually,
wait a minute. Greece scored 5 in an hour against Belarus. Belgium scored 6 in Liechtenstein, and then 6 against Kazakhstan. Spain scored 6 in Turkey. You know, we are miles off it. Miles off it.
Right. I know. No, I agree. Can I ask you? Is he playing somebody that he shouldn't, and is he not playing somebody he should? Can we think of MD? I mean, is an MD going to make...
I think it's the way we play. It's the style we play.
Do you think it is?
It's sideways, backwards, patience, keep the ball. Look at Germany. They weren't particularly good last night, I'll be honest. And they did give the ball away a lot. But when they attack, they're direct, they use width, they attack with pace and strength and power, all the things that we don't do.
Your goals came from... Am I right in saying your goals came a couple of crosses? I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. There is a certain degree, I think, you're turning a little bit into Manchester City. And Manchester City, who have been fantastic for years, get the ball and attempt to score the perfect goal nearly all the time. Right? And I'm with you. There is absolutely nothing wrong with getting the ball, get a full back and an overlap, and get a delivery into the box. Get early. Earlier the better. Whether you've got a low block or a high block, doesn't matter. Get deliveries into the box and cause problems. And you are right, you're not doing that. You're not doing it. You're not doing it with any pace or any aggression.
I promise you, fans of Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland, we will talk about your games
make sure
later.
we will.
But up next, more on Thomas Tuchel and England. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me, and he knows what that was. Bit of Pink to start the week off. Why we play it's Happy Birthday to Pink, who is 46 today.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're not a big fan.
Not a massive fan. But she, to be fair to her, she kind of plays happy songs, and
yeah,
I don't mind that. I don't mind.
Yeah,
that.
she's listenable, sing-along stuff too.
Yes. I'm just thinking there. I was thinking about England probably. You'll be okay, but when you play them in Andorra, I think Andorra will have to open up a wee bit.
Look, there's a lot of flack for England coming in, a lot of flack, some flack for us. Sam says, typical arrogance from England fans this morning. What gives you the right to think you should be beating Andorra 5 or 6-0? 2-0 is your level, just accept it. Sam, don't be stupid. Andorra ranked 170-something in the world. We were European Championship finalists. We have the right to expect to beat Andorra by a halfway decent score, and we didn't do that. Tony, who's in Johannesburg, says, morning chaps, I know that Gareth was accused of being boring, but he was like Alex Higgins compared to Tuchel's Steve Davis.
Why don't we talk about the cricket? He's did all right at the cricket.
No, Rob the Hammers fan in Cadiz says, love the show. Don't you think this England team's been like this for years, including the South period? Boring, flat, disinterested. Isn't it time to face it because foreign players have superior skill and take responsibility in the Premier League, not the English players? And he goes on to quote the fact that Spain demolished Turkey, at least scored a hatful. You're absolutely right. But I'm not having that because within the Premier League, people like Eberechi Eze are star performers, you know. So don't completely agree with you, Rob. Have a brilliant time in Cadiz.
Oh, I was nearly there the other week. Yeah. Cadiz is south of France, isn't it? South of Spain.
It's another Rubik's Cube moment there, isn't it?
No, I know exactly what it was because I wasn't far from here. It's southwest of Brazil. I nearly said there, Seville.
This is like a world tour.
Yeah, Cadiz is... Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is Cadiz is lovely. That's it.
And it is indeed in Spain. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely in
Spain.
Definitely
in Spain, mate.
Right. Quickly, we better take a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business.
The Back Page Review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Got a side hustle baking bread? Improve your take-home dough with business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big three networks. For verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
Angelina, get him out of trouble.
Angelina,
honestly, the geography. I want to ask you a question because this is one Gabby didn't know. Do you know where Andorra is?
Yes, I've been there.
Where is it?
You fly to Barcelona.
But where is it?
You fly to Barcelona. It's between Spain. It's between Spain and France.
There we go. Gabby thought it was Italy. So there you go. That's okay. You're doing better than Gabby, but we need to question.
That's a real feather in my cap.
As somebody said, basically England beat a ski resort too. You know.
Yeah.
It's lovely Andorra though.
It's nice place.
Yeah,
did you know you fly into Barcelona?
Yes, I did. Yeah, very good. Or
is that Barcelona in France?
Hey, listen, for somebody that can't cycle a bike, you're giving me a hard time this morning, right? I was going to say a cycle to Andorra at least.
Yeah, at least you've got the option of multiple modes of transport at least, whereas I'm clueless. Anyway. Back pages, back of the Sun, Route 1, Tuch's crazy gang tactics for World Cup glory. Thomas Tuchel could turn England into Wimbledon's famous crazy gang, famous in the 80s and 90s, of course, for their physical style, in an attempt to make them world champions. So the manager wants the team to mix things up, cause problems with long throws and big goal kicks. I mean, it's already been a big trend in the Premier League this season. We're only 3 weeks in and already virtually every team has tried to launch long throws into the box. Arsenal tried to do it last season away to PSG in the Champions League semi-final. And it just seems like there's a bit of a trend. Is this why Thomas Tuchel maybe is picking Dan Burn? He wants more height in the team to be dangerous from set pieces. I'm not too sure. But are we a fan of the long throw?
Don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Ali, can you take a long throw? How far do you reckon?
No, bad long throw on me, but I wouldn't say I was a long throw specialist.
No, because Ali would be the target in the box at 5 foot.
I'm just saying
5 foot 11 and a half. He'd be the target.
Of course, you're the Dan Burn in this situation because you're so
exactly.
tall, Ali.
It's the only reason I got a game from my aerial skills.
100%.
I don't have a problem with it. If it's another shrink your bow. But because I tell you right now, the hypocrisy if we didn't. Jeff and I have just said we want to see more crosses into the box, more deliveries into the box, defences put under more pressure. Yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah, I would say as well, by the way, that look, he said before this game, before the Andorra game, that we were going to do that, and we didn't. But Dan Burn, people are talking about him saying that's one of the reasons that Dan Burn's in the squad. Dan Burn's in the squad on merit, in my.
Of course he is.
You know, he's been fantastic over the last couple of seasons.
100%.
And deserves his place, but... Yeah.
So I think he was asked, I mean, you're not going to completely change your tactics and throw... But see, I'm a believer, Angelina, right? You've got to do something sometimes to mix it up, to do something different. Yeah. Particularly if you're playing a team... I'm not talking about England in general here, but I'm just talking about any team. If you're playing a team that are, generally speaking, better than you and they've got more talent than you and better players than you, you've got to take them out of their comfort zone. You've got to do something different. Or if you try and take them on at the game that they're good at, they'll beat you. So long throws and putting them under pressure like that are just a different way to mix it up, and I don't have a problem with it at all.
Okay, very good. I'm glad we're all on board with the long throws. The back page of the Daily Mail, 3 Lions on racism alert. Unfortunately, we've got to talk about
Serbia.
this. The England players are very aware of the challenge they may face during tomorrow night's World Cup qualifier against Serbia in Belgrade, which is live on talkSPORT, after previous internationals in the country were marred by racist incidents. So Eberic Eze has confirmed that the squad would discuss protocols and potential actions in the event that any of the travelling party are subjected to abuse. Serbia have been hit with a partial stadium closure of around 15%. The UEFA have fined the Serbian FA more than £600,000 in the last 5 years for a variety of transgressions, including discrimination from the stands towards opponents. Do UEFA actually punish teams and nations harshly enough, do we think? Serbia do seem to be a bit of a repeat offender. Everyone wants to talk about zero tolerance, but I feel like it needs to be backed up a bit more.
Well, Serbia's renowned bad for it, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what's the point of closing 15% of the stadium? It's absolutely meaningless.
Either close it all or don't do it at all. I mean, should it be that, if you know that you're putting players in this environment, you play it on neutral ground? Or do you move it?
Or punish them more severely? I don't know. I mean, I've got to say, Belgrade's probably the most volatile place that we ever went. And that's including Turkey and Greece and all them. I thought Belgrade was absolutely ridiculous, to tell you the truth, but it was a phenomenal atmosphere. Absolutely phenomenal, but crazy. The fans are absolutely crazy. But Jeff's right. I mean, 15%, that's just a token, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think more needs to be done, And finally, quickly, on the back of the Sun and the Mirror, Nicholas Jackson. I'm feeling a bit sorry for him. He was good. He was trying to do the loan move. Then Chelsea tried to rip him back. Then he's got the loan move. Obviously, he has to start 40 games for the side for the £56.2 million obligation to buy to stand. And basically, a Bayern Munich president has said he's not playing 40 games. There will definitely not be a permanent contract.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a way to encourage him to produce his very best. I don't feel sorry for him. I mean, I wouldn't say that.
It's not like one of the Germans coming out with some controversial. I mean, about that. The boys here and that. I mean, that's straight away. Dear me.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
But it doesn't get a mention, Angelina. I understand why as well. But Darren points out, what about the golf? Rory's eagle putt on the last 18th to take it to a playoff. Great viewing. Rory picking up form just in time for the Ryder Cup, and he's dead right. There was some spectacular sporting stories during the course of the weekend. Football, obviously, is going to dominate the back pages. Thanks, Angelina.
Thanks, Angelina.
And that was a look at today's back pages with Tesco Mobile for Business. Up next, we're discussing what makes a club well run.
The Back Page Review on talkSPORT with Tesco Mobile for Business. Got a side hustle baking bread? Improve your take-home dough with business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big three networks. For verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
When Sir Jim Ratcliffe took control of footballing operations at United, the Manchester-born billionaire was somewhat welcomed in as a homegrown hero, ready to save the club from the dark days of the Glazers. But in just 12 months, he became a punchbag for many fans. So what happened? Well, let's take a look and you can decide for yourself. Over the last 3 years, the club lost 300 million quid, and Ratcliffe rightfully committed to sorting that. But what seemed to get fans' backs up is the way he went about it. For example, talkSPORT understands staff lunch options at the Carrington canteen have been reduced to just soup and sandwiches, which the higher-ups at the club say will save them 1 million quid a year. Now, that might make sense for many who don't get free meals at work themselves, but it does get a little bit more picky than that. It was reported that after staff brought some stationery, they were ordered to send sellotape back because it wasn't considered to be essential. And the reward for being Steward of the Week used to be 50 quid, but that was scrapped and replaced by a paper certificate. But it's not just seemingly stingy decisions. In 2024 alone, Ratcliffe oversaw 250 redundancies, and more were announced at the beginning of 2025. Now, while there are people who acknowledge United staff numbers are overinflated, it's the optics which aren't great. Add to the mix the introduction of a flat ticket price of 66 quid for every fan, even children, while Casemiro's on 350 grand a week, and the frustration of fans reached fever pitch. Time will tell whether Ratcliffe's cost-cutting measures will improve outcomes at the club, but one thing's for sure, there's a long way to go for United to be back where many say they belong.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast at 6:35. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is alongside me. Now, following the news last week that Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy has left the club after 25 years, it got us thinking about what it takes for a club to be well run or badly run. It's undeniable that Levy's Tottenham extremely successful in certain senses. The brand new stadium, considered the best, certainly one of the best in the world, new state-of-the-art training ground. But football fans demand success on the pitch. 2 trophies in 25 years. Admittedly, the last of those was just last year. The Tottenham fans had been giving Daniel Levy plenty of stick. So despite giving Tottenham the best stadium in the world, does that make you a good owner? Of course, the difference here, Coisty, is that unusually, Daniel Levy, chairman, but not the owner. Yeah. Not the owner, you know. But it seemed to me that the Lewis family were in an almost unique situation where they allowed him a complete free rein. It appeared from the outside.
Do you think
it did? Free rein of what to do. Well, even things like the discussions where he tried to bring Eberechi Eze to the club, he was in direct negotiation with Steve Parish, which is unusual for a club chairman.
Yeah, I get that. Perhaps he did run it a little bit differently to most club chairmen.
Did you not think it was? It appeared from the outside. It did appear from something of a dictatorship, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing.
I would be very surprised, though, Jeff, if he wasn't under instructions by the owners to effectively, you know, go to whatever level of price and things like that and transfers. Because, you know, he did have somebody to answer to. That said, you're right. The first thing you've got to say, as a financial institution and as a business, it's probably the best run, one of the best run clubs in the country, if not the best, right? Which clearly is a very, very good thing. If you're winning things on a regular basis, it's probably the perfect thing. But that would probably be the level of criticism with a reasonable level of justification levelled at him, because, you know, 2 trophies in 25 years, you know, it wouldn't be enough for a club like Tottenham Hotspur. But
outside of Manchester City and Arsenal and Liverpool, the fans of every club are going to say that, aren't they?
Yeah, but I would suggest that Tottenham fans would think they're higher placed in the echelons of English football in terms of an ability to win trophies. Whether they are or not, it's up for debate. I mean, the complete irony of the whole situation is they won a European trophy, probably finished in the lowest position for many, many years. So, but I do take your point outside those, certainly, I'm saying in recent years, in Tottenham's history, they haven't been serial winners, really, have they? When you look at City, I've went through a period, Chelsea got through a period, Liverpool and Manchester United, greater and longer periods. You know, those clubs aside, you need to go back to 50s and 30s and 20s and things like that when you get clubs that had an era of success. You know, when I was talking when the last time we won the league was 60-61, was it? You know, when was it Bill Nicholson and Dave Mackay and all those boys? I think they did the double. Anyway, so they've never really had, certainly in my lifetime, a sustained period like those other clubs have had.
Yeah. We won't really know, I think, how to measure Daniel Levy's success or otherwise for a number of years, because we need to see what appears to come now is they've appointed a non-executive chairman, Peter Charrington, whose background is banking. They've got a chief executive officer, I can't pronounce his name, forgive me, Venkatesham. And you wonder, so, non-executive chairman, chief executive officer, will the Lewis family now start to have more input as well? And if so, do more heads mean more success? I mean, they go to say, don't they, you know, a camel is a horse designed by a committee.
Well, what means more success is more trophies.
But does the simple fact that you've got more people inputting mean it's more likely to be successful?
Well, time will tell. There could be easily could be an argument against that. Easily could be an argument against that, Jeff. The one thing I think will be interesting, now that they do have a absolute state-of-the-art stadium and training ground, the best around, best any club will have. Can they now afford to spend more money on their playing staff? That would be the big question to look out for. And again, it'll be interesting to see when that happens. But, you know, I'll bet you that the owners of Tottenham Hotspur over the piece will be absolutely thrilled with the job that Daniel Levy's done.
Yeah, well, the owners certainly will be. I don't think there's any question about that. But obviously the supporters, that's not the case.
No.
And look, we talk about what's a good owner. Everybody wants a Tony Bloom struck Paul Barber at Brighton. Yeah. Everybody wants a Matthew Benham struck John Varney at Brentford. But there aren't many of those around.
Far from it. Absolutely far from it, Jeff. I mean, it's one of these... Do you know something? See, if you're somebody like Daniel Levy, for example, not many club owner, Daniel Levy, I think his job is, and it's probably the most important job, I think, in the football club, is the relationship that he has with the manager, head coach. That's the most important relationship, I think. I really, really do. And it'd be interesting. I would love to hear the opinions of Mourinho, Conte, you know, Nuno, Pochettino, all these managers, just to see what kind of relationship he had, because I think he would run a tight ship. It's clearly, what I'm saying is, it looks really, really obvious that he runs a really, really tight ship. There's no doubt about it. But, Jeff, I take your point as well. I mean, you look at a team like Crystal Palace, for example, you know, who have had a fantastic period there, winning the FA Cup. Their fans, again, correctly will be saying, well, wait a minute, what right do Tottenham fans think, you know, that 2 trophies in 25 years is necessarily terrible?
Yeah. And then point the finger at Daniel Levy. And I would say to them, look at Manchester United. Look at the complaints they've got about the Glazer family with the lack of success on the field, the state of Old Trafford crumbling at the moment, yet they're taking dividends from the club. I would say West Ham fans are unhappy with David Sullivan. And Wolves fans, I think, are probably unhappy with Fosun International because of their selling policy. It's very, very difficult, you know, for fans and owners stroke CEOs to be in harmony unless the club is successful on the field.
100%, and that's the most important thing. And the way you've put it there, you would think it's almost a thankless task.
It is. I mean, you know, what makes a good owner? Well, somebody with deep pockets and thick skin.
Yeah. I wouldn't fancy the job because you're always... I mean, it's the old one, isn't it? You can please some of the people some of the time, but you are never, ever, ever going to please them all the time.
Yeah.
And you're right to mention Manchester United. But they are, and I get it totally, their supporters will receive absolute, and nor should they, receive any sympathy from any other football fan in the country about not winning things the way the club's run.
Yeah. I mean, Dan, who's a Spurs fan, texted to say, if the Lewis family are insisting the club is not for sale, the speculation that there might be a portion of it for sale, then they need to put their money where their mouth is. That's easy for a fan to say, you know, but it's when you're the person putting the money in, that's not quite so straightforward. And I don't know the figures for how much the Lewis family have put in over the year, but I do know, you know, that season in, season out, you tend to see significant business done by Spurs, not as much as some Tottenham fans might like. But, you know, we're not living in a dream world here.
They always, under Daniel Levy, they always look to, I certainly would say they spend... They bring new players in, but within their own limits.
Yes.
Which football fans don't like to hear it, but it's the way to do it. You know, it's like you would run. I think we're all in agreement. What's happened now, Jeff, is effectively, I think we're all in agreement that football is a business, right? It's an absolute business. From top to bottom, it's a business. So we are now criticising Daniel Levy for running his business meticulously, probably, without gambling. So, you know, can please some of the people.
Let's have a word from somebody who knows about club ownership. Former Crystal Palace owner Simon Jordan defended Daniel Levy, claiming that being judged against his wealthier rivals was unfair. Take a listen.
There is an element, Alan, of perceived failure tax on clubs that now aren't achieving what people think they are. If you look at Man City and look at Chelsea, they've spent money like drunken sailors to achieve things, and success has created inherent value for the football club. And I don't mean just on the field, I mean for the owners, who ultimately will look to sell this football club at the best price. So I think it's no secret that Tottenham probably is for sale. It's no secret that probably the Lewis family want to extract maximum value from it.
And Simon should know what he's talking about. That is for sure. Tottenham fans who are unhappy with their club's ownership and the stewardship of Daniel Levy, I would say can only be dreamt about by clubs, supporters of other clubs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking Sheffield Wednesday.
Correct.
For a start.
Yeah.
And I know you're not going to compare in terms of size, but Reading, Morecambe, so on and so forth. I would say there are a lot of good owners around.
Of course there are.
A lot of good owners.
Absolutely.
I mentioned Tony Bloom,
100%.
Paul Barber, Matthew Benham at Brentford. If you want to go down the line, Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney are a dream team. Middlesbrough with Steve Gibson.
Without doubt, Steve Gibson
rescued the club in 1986.
Fantastic owner.
Supported them
Fantastic.
ever since then. And I would say, though she's not now, I have to even mention Adelia Smith and Michael Wynne-Jones, who basically gave away all of their shares within the club just to ensure the financial security of Norwich City. Now, that's good ownership. And they didn't have the funds to put into the club that could make Norwich City an absolute powerhouse. You've got to be very fortunate to be in that position.
No, I just think, sometimes location as well. Norwich, with the greatest respect, you include Ipswich and that, I don't think they're ever going to be a national powerhouse, right? But that's not necessarily to say that they can't win a league, go on a cup run. You know, it's. I'm using Norwich as an example. There's far more teams like Norwich than not. Well-run clubs, great supporters, fantastic fan base, but know their place in the food chain.
Yeah. I mean, Archie, who's a Spurs fan, said, if we didn't have the most expensive tickets in Europe, then I get your point. Where is our reward for the thousands we fork out every year? Well, Archie, you won the Europa League last season. There are only a limited number of competitions that can be won, and everybody wants to be out there and winning them.
And also, you're sitting arguably in the best stadium in the world, one of the best stadiums in the world. So, but I take your point as well. I get it.
Text here saying Bill Foley, the best owner in the Premier League, the Bournemouth owner as well, and that would be a very fair point as well. And Adam from Salford is going to have the last word. Ali talking about being an owner and saying he doesn't fancy that job must be the first job he's ever turned down.
I'm not ruling out.
We'll be back with more very shortly. Good morning. It is 6:53, Monday, September the 8th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. What a story in the Times today from Ian Hawkey. And it's about Swedish football. It doesn't feature too often, does it, on talkSPORT? But it's going to just for a moment or two now, because the current league leaders in Sweden are Mjölby. Okay? And Mjölby is a village of less than 1,000 people. And the village football team currently stands 8 points clear at the top of the Swedish Premier League, ahead of sides who'd have been regarded as giants like Malmö and Gothenburg and Halmstad. Not surprisingly, they've never won the Swedish League before.
Well, there was only 8 games to go.
8 games to go, and 8 points clear at present.
That's phenomenal. Now, it begs a question. I need to ask her. I mean, this is optimism. This is optimism. How can you have a village of fewer than 1,000 people?
I know.
And have a stadium that accommodates 6,500?
Yeah.
That is optimistic.
It is optimistic. I mean, the nearest thing I can think to it is Wimbledon, when they were doing brilliantly in the Premier League and went on and won the FA Cup. But it is. I mean, they... at one stage in years gone by, they had sort of 3 sets of local brothers playing for them, because that was where their recruitment came from. But now...
It's a brilliant story.
Wow.
It really, really is.
Yeah. I mean, one of the officials from the club, the head coach, actually, Anders Torstensson, says 10 years ago we were 1 game away from relegation to the 4th tier. And here they are, village in Sweden, about to win the top division's title in Sweden. I mean, just incredible.
That's a great story. Yeah. Great story, mate.
6:55. Look, we better press on. Angelina's waiting. Hi, Angelina.
Hello. Well, I wanted to chat to you guys about the WSL. So it was the opening weekend of games. Chelsea.
Hat-trick for Everton. Hat-trick.
Yes. Well, I want to get into that one. I mean, Chelsea beat Manchester City 2-1. Chelsea were unbeaten in the league last season, so, you know, they looked good as expected. That Merseyside derby, though, so Liverpool lost 4-1 at Anfield. Absolute embarrassment for them. Everton's 5th Merseyside derby win in 5 games at Anfield. The Everton new signing, Anela Vingola, scored a hat-trick. Amazing goals if you've not seen them. The first men's or women's player from Everton to do so against Liverpool since Dixie Dean.
There you are. When would that be? Come on then, Jeff. You're probably at the game. When did Dixie Dean...
Before my time.
Did he know?
A long time before my time, in actual fact.
I know. He had a ridiculous season one year. I think he scored about 60 one season, Dixie.
Yeah, he did. He did something absolutely ridiculous.
It was madness, Angelina.
But, you know, bad news for Liverpool. They apparently do want to grow the women's side of their club, attract fans. But, you know, it's International Week. You're playing a game at Anfield. You're going to get a lot more people there, you would imagine. Pardon?
What was the crowd? Do we know?
It didn't look very, very busy. No. But the thing is, you know, this is your moment to really get some fans involved, etc. A lot of them probably left thinking I'd rather support Everton. But it is really exciting for Everton. And I just wanted to mention as well, Arsenal, they humbled newly promoted London City Lionesses with a 4-1 win. Olivia Smith, who there's been a couple of £1 million signings and transfer records being broken, but Arsenal bought her for £1 million, and you can see exactly why. She scored a fantastic goal. In terms of debuts for Arsenal at the Emirates, men's or women's, it's got to be right up there. I wouldn't be surprised if she wasn't getting a Ballon d'Or nomination soon. But London City Lionesses, they made 17 signings in the transfer window. So I think it's going to take time for the players to
Who's running at Chelsea?
It's between Chelsea and Arsenal. It should be Arsenal this season, I think. I mean, they won the Champions League.
I know that. What a season.
Yeah, so you would think so. But London City Lionesses are very interesting. A woman called Michelle Kang is their majority owner. She also owns Lyon Women, has a controlling stake in the men's team. And she's got this aura about her. You need to go. She's almost like a supervillain in a way. She's dressed impeccably. She gives you the vibe that, like, she only has to sleep like 3 hours or something. Do you know? And it's in an oxygen chamber or something like that.
Well, that's luxury. 3 hours sleep.
Oh.
Hey, I come in and you're boasting that she gets a long lie.
Yeah, she gets an absolute lion. But, you know, she's really big on investing in London City Lionesses. She's put a lot of money behind it and is intent on keeping it going.
Where do those girls play their home games, Angelina? Do you know? London City?
London City Lionesses. It's in Bromley because I will be there match reporting at the weekend because they're playing Man United women. So, but yeah, overall, really good start for Manchester United, my team. They beat Leicester 4-0. Ella Toone on the score sheet. Absolutely brilliant from her. And they had their new signing, Jess Park. She also played, who was a Manchester City player. She switched with Grace Clinton, who was a Man United player. They've done a Man City, Man United swap. So excited to see what Jess Park will bring. Shame about Grace Clinton because she's a really talented player, but she said she wasn't aligned with the club. So I don't know if that's down to the manager, Mark Skinner, that basically wasn't playing her enough. So we'll see. But yeah, very, very good start to the Women's Super League.
For Everton.
Yeah, brilliant. Angelina, thank you very much indeed. Somebody's texting saying Bayern's women had 57,000 there.
They did.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow. It's fantastic, isn't it?
Did they really?
So,
yeah.
Ben the Tranmere fan says, thanks for that golden nugget about the Swedish side. I'll sleep well tonight knowing that fact. Boring. Well, Ben, I think you might be in a minority thing in that one.
Oh, come on, Ben.
That was
a great
boring.
story.
Yeah, he's a Tranmere fan. Must have been related to Mike Dean. Morning to you, Mike. If you're there, I'm just joking, of course, mate. Dixie Dean, by the way, scored 60 goals, 1927 to 28.
There you are.
Everton scored 102 goals in the season and Dixie scored 60 of those 102.
Phenomenal.
Not too shabby. Angelina, thank you very much
Thanks,
indeed.
Angelina.
Still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Download the new improved app to easily manage your accounts and quotes.
American sports fans, listen up. Brian T. Smith will be with us very shortly to bring us a bumper roundup of all US sports from the weekend. The NFL and Mauricio Pochettino in particular. That's our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade with easy delivery tracking and 2-hour delivery time slots. Terms and conditions apply.
For every good signing a club makes, there's bound to be a few that don't work out. And Man United have certainly had their fair share of those, especially since the end of their golden age under Sir Alex Ferguson. Here are just some of the Red Devils' worst signings since Fergie. First up, Alexis Sanchez. Sanchez joined United from Arsenal back in 2018 and became the highest paid player in the Prem. He'd averaged almost 1 goal every 2 games for the Gunners, but in his 45 games for Man United, he only managed 5 goals. Not what you want from a star striker. Next up, Radamel Falcao. He earned himself the nickname the Tiger for his sheer efficiency and the way he used to pounce upon the mistakes of defenders. But at Man United, he was way more pussycat than Tiger, to be honest. All he managed in 29 Man United games was 4 goals. Moving on, things couldn't have gone much worse for Jadon Sancho at Man United. Yeah, it would have been hard to outdo his Borussia Dortmund form, but 12 goals in 83 games is not great. Things got worse after a public fallout with manager Erik ten Hag. Sancho said he was being made a scapegoat. Ten Hag said there'd been a discipline issue. It all ended up with Sancho going back to Germany. Next, Erik ten Hag probably thought he was being smart in sticking to what he knew when he signed Antony from his former club Ajax. But the £86 million Brazilian hasn't really been able to hack it in the Prem. Chances are Antony's Man United days are numbered. Next, the curse of the Man United number 7 shirt. Not an easy act following Ronaldo, Cantona, Beckham and George Best, but Memphis Depay was another striker who was apparently allergic to scoring for United. He scored just 7 in 53 appearances, a huge letdown since he'd helped PSV win the Dutch league just a season before joining. Last one, Angel Di Maria was set to be United's landmark signing when he joined in 2014, but 1 season later he was already on his way out. 4 goals in 32 games was just not good enough, given he'd broken the British record transfer fee when he signed. And those are just a few examples. To be honest, the list could go on and on. Unfortunately, that's probably why Man United haven't won the Prem for a while, and why it might take a few more years before they're in contention again.
Good morning, it is 6 minutes past 7. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. On the way this morning, we're joined by the former Manchester United goalkeeper Raymond van der Houw to chat about Andrea Onana. British heavyweight Fraser Clark is here to chat all things boxing, and we'll head down to League Two, where we'll be joined by the Oldham manager Mickey Mellon, whose new signing on his debut, his son, Michael Mellon, got him the winner over the weekend. And by the way, you could never have scripted this, because on the same day, Charlie Wellens scored a 95th minute winner for Leyton Orient, and he is manager Richie Wellens' son. So, and that was his first senior goal for them.
Brilliant.
So, you know,
well, my bag can get beat 2-1, then they score.
Yeah. But it's amazing. 2 sons getting their dads out of trouble.
Brilliant.
Anyway, we'll talk to Mickey Mellon about what he said to his boy. And as interestingly for me, we'll be talking to Mickey about what his boy said to him when he substituted him after 57 minutes. That's all to come. Now, back in March, Thomas Tuchel said he aims to create an environment which allows the team to play with excitement and hunger. The England boss spoke after the 2-0 win over Andorra on the lack of creativity from his side on the night, and in particular, Eberechi Eze.
Over most of the time, I was happy with where we tried to speed up the game. The central defenders had to do that job because there's no other way. And then we attacked with wider fullbacks today to have 3 players on the wing and to create chances. This is also where the goals came from. Epps had unfortunately a bit of an unlucky game. He trained so good, and we thought he can maybe open it up for us with the right passing, with the right choices, and his creativity. He struggled a bit. He should have scored 2 goals. We should have scored after a ball win with Elliot Anderson. So I think we could have had life easier, but. Overall, where it was possible, I think it was a much better performance than in Chu.
What do you make about him calling out individual players? He did the same with Noni Madueke and said he falls asleep.
I don't have a problem with it, Jeff. I don't. I genuinely don't. Maybe it's because of the era I came from, but I understand it's not the norm nowadays. I get that. And I also understand that some players won't like it. And a lot of them probably would prefer a word in their ear rather than he's not giving them a public bashing or anything like that. Let's be honest about it. All he's given is a pretty honest assessment of how he felt he played. So, from our point of view, it can only be good from where we're sitting because we enjoy things like that. But I get it. If you're a player, you probably prefer to have had a quiet word.
Look, let's take a look back, shall we? It's always right across English football, of course. Sports writer and broadcaster Henry Winter. Morning, Henry.
Good morning, Henry.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. How are we?
Yeah,
very well, thank you.
I mean, look, Thomas Tuchel, when he came in, he promised a brave new world. It struck me, Henry, you might disagree, it was same old, slow, pass sideways, pass backwards, can't break down teams.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is simply qualifying football. I mean, I think I was trying to tot them up, but I've done about 130 qualifying games, and I could probably remember a Munich here, a Rome there, an Old Trafford, Beckham free kick. I mean, not many of them actually sort of stay in the memory. And I was thinking, just trying to put some of that into perspective. And then you look at Spain's performance last night against Turkey, thrashing them 6-0 away. And you think, well, maybe there are ways of sort of building an identity and results at the same time. And I think that's the frustration with England at the moment is, look, 4 wins out of 4, no goals conceded. They're striding towards the World Cup. But you want to see partnerships built on the pitch, which is why I didn't understand why Dan Burn played and Mark Gay and Konza didn't develop their partnership. But there were encouraging things. I thought Madueke was good. Elliot Anderson, no surprise if you've been following the under-21s or Nottingham Forest, how good he was. So there were positives, but I agree with you. It's a tough watch.
Henry, what about reading the back pages this morning? There's a fair chance, or not a fair chance, but he said he wouldn't rule out going more direct, long ball, long throw-ins. Jeff and I were talking about it earlier on this morning. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing if you've got another string to your bow, but particularly if you're playing a team that might be technically better than you and you try and take them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, I mean, it's a string to a long bow, I think, is what he's effectively saying. And I think you're right. You mix it up. I mean, the great teams could play against you, they could fight against you, they could outpass you, they could outrun you. I mean, you want a mix of that. And if you've got Miles Lewis-Skelly, who can obviously fling the ball a long way, use that occasionally. I thought the encouraging, or an attempt at being encouraging, was more of the width that England saw at Villa Park. Madueke was going his fullback. Rashford was playing slightly more narrow from what Madueke was saying afterwards. That was almost a sort of a team tactic that Rashford would come in a bit more, and he faded after a sort of a vaguely promising start. So I think that's good to see a bit of the width. When you've got someone like Harry Kane, who's good in the air, when you've got someone like Declan Rice with his runs into the box, and Jude Bellingham obviously is England's best 10, and he'll replace Eze, when he's back from his shoulder injury, cut the ball back to them. So absolutely, just vary it, whether it's long ball, whether it's crosses. Yep. I've never understood what's the difference between a long ball and a long pass, apart from, better PR.
Yeah, I mean, you talked with some of the defenders that he played there. I just thought Harry Kane, he's well documented now, 10 touches in 70 minutes. The Villa Park crowd are going to sleep. Why didn't he take Kane off? We're 2-0 up and put Ollie Watkins on. Give them something to shout about. But look, do you see progress from the Gareth Southgate era to the Thomas Tuchel era so far, Henry?
I think what you've got in Thomas Tuchel and what the FA hope they've got is someone who can make key changes at key moments in crunch games. I don't think you can judge Tuchel properly with England until the sort of quarterfinals of the World Cup, because it's such a big tournament now. England will qualify, they'll get through the group stage, and then you can properly judge them. And Tuchel's got this reputation, we saw it with Chelsea in the Champions League, of being able to sort of change games with his substitutions, with his personality. I mean, echoing what Ali said earlier, I don't mind him calling out the players as long as he's said it to them in the dressing room first and then reiterated it. I think we need a little bit of tough love with England. So to your point, have they improved from Southgate's era? Not particularly. But it's just that killer instinct. Southgate got England to 2 finals. Maybe he might have made changes in those finals, particularly the Italy game at Wembley, reacted to Mancini earlier. The history will be different. And Tuchel can make those changes.
Henry, I'm looking at the starting team. Obviously, Maji Chiesa, Rashford, Kane. He brings on Anthony Gordon, Morgan Rogers, Gibbs White. I mean, running the risk of upsetting one or two England fans, surely that you can maybe criticise him, but I'd like to see Jared Bowen perhaps. But I mean, is there anything else that's missing from that team that he should be playing?
I mean, you could argue Grealish, the way he started at Everton, but maybe he needs to settle in a bit more. The issue with England is that they've got strength out wide. They've got strength at number 10. I mean, we've been talking, I haven't even mentioned Cole Palmer yet. I don't think England can play with 2 10s. I quite like the balance of an Anderson and Declan Rice, and then Jude Bellingham playing off Kane. My concern is mainly with the depth of quality at centre half. I mean, John Stones, when he's fit, is absolutely a world-class defender, but he's 31, and can Tuchel rely on him? So I'm less worried about out wide and attacking at number 10. It's just the defence.
First real test, isn't it, for Thomas Tuchel? Serbia away. I mean, it is going to be a very hostile, volatile atmosphere.
Yeah, you summed it up well earlier when you were talking about it. And, the issues of racism with Serbian fans, the England under-21s experienced it in the past, Danny Rose and other players. And there were, at the Euros last year, there were allegations against the Serbian fans, partial stadium closure. So, that is going to be intimidating. At some point, a team will walk off if there is sort of sustained or any racial abuse, because I think that's the only way the message can get through. But yeah, absolutely, it'll be hostile. And listening to Perry Groves on talkSPORT yesterday, I found myself nodding in agreement. His suggestion that Jordan Henderson might start in midfield, that experienced older head who's been in situations like that. I don't think Henderson should be going to the World Cup. I think Elliot Anderson is there. And Elliot Anderson is 22 and he's pretty mature. He can handle sort of most environments, but it wouldn't completely surprise me if Jordan Henderson came in.
Henry, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Henry. Have a good week, mate.
Pleasure.
Coming up next, find out what non-story Sean Dyche had to dispel yesterday on talkSPORT. Classic, isn't it?
It's one of my favourites, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got Tommy Kitten's Greatest Hits somewhere, have you?
Didn't even know it was a Tommy Kitten.
It's a Tommy Kitten, yeah.
Is it? I don't know.
You know, Kerry Katona was one of the band.
Yes, she was indeed.
She's gone viral for a brilliant clip with the former Everton and Burnley manager Sean Dyche.
I didn't see that.
On Celebs Go Dating. You mean you don't watch Celebs Go Dating?
No, I don't. I've missed that.
Neither do I. I've never heard of it. But some have been speculating, listen to this, that Katona and Dyche were an item. So Sean Dyche co-hosted a show.
I don't know who
yesterday.
I feel sorry for more.
Yeah, well, Mrs. Dyche. Sean co-hosted a show on talkSPORT.
She might be ecstatic.
Well, no, look. We had to give him the opportunity to explain it all, and he did.
Brilliant, I was listening to him. Brilliant.
I don't normally tell people stuff like this, but I went out with the Millwall lads, that's the link. We went out for a catch-up, there was about 9 of us, and we stumbled into a restaurant, and we did stumble in. We were okay, but we did stumble in, and there were all the cameras there. So I said, sorry, lads, this is the way it goes, like no joke. So the lads are buzzing off it. So the producer comes over and said, is Sean in it? I said, yeah, and he said, look, we're doing Celebrity Goes Dating. Would you mind just doing like a little walk-on piece? You know, it just adds a bit of flavour to it. And I said, yes, sure. I said, what does it pay? So he pulled a face, and I went, no, it's not for me. I'll give it to charity. Can you research?
Oh, nice, yeah.
So they said, right, we'll give you double, which is not a fortune, but it's still nice, enough to, and a bit of a crack for the lads. But of course, I had to go on and make out as if, like, I sort of know Kerry. By the way, she's lovely as well. I just made that clear, because I know she had a bit of an uptime. It takes a bit of stick, but I tell you, she was lovely.
Yeah.
Very gracious, came home and said hello afterwards and that.
Yeah.
And they sort of just plonked me on it, so I did it for a bit of laugh with the lads and something good and a bit of goodwill. And people jump on it straight away, you know, you start getting stick, and that's the world now. It's just like, slow your thinking down, wouldn't it? There must be someone out there who thought, he's got it, there must be a reason why he's doing that. You just slow yourself down.
Yes.
And when I tell them the story, I go, oh, right.
Yeah,
you go, yeah, well, just now and again, take a breath on life and just think, what is he doing on there? But it was all good. It was all good. It's the way it goes.
Things I did not expect to hear this morning, particularly from Big Dyche.
Yeah, bewildering, wasn't it?
Genius.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
A little bit stitched up anyway, at least he felt it was. Ben from Birmingham says, boys, it's not about changing games with decisions. We need to go all out to use the firepower and talent we have and obliterate teams.
Yes.
Otherwise, we won't even get past the group stages. Well, I get your point, Ben. We will get past the group stages. Remember what happened when Lee Carsty tried to do that? Wasn't perfect, was it? But he does go to say, get Jack back in, rotate the strikers around, stop relying on Harry Kane. Some good points, I think, Ben. Thank you very much indeed for that. Now it's time for a bit of this.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
And Angelina is back with us. Why are you playing this, Angelina?
It's not my birthday.
No.
No, that was back in April. But you know me, Manchester United fan, I've always got to try and weave him in somewhere, haven't I? Bruno Fernandes turns 31 today. Big happy birthday to my captain. I mean, love him or hate him, whether you think that he's a great footballer or he moans too much. Footballer. He is a great footballer.
I don't.
Moans a bit too much, do you
Yeah. But
I
don't mind that. I don't mind
All
that.
captains have a win, don't they?
I think that's his desire to win coming out. That's all that
I don't have a problem with it.
People think he sulks a bit too much, but I agree. I think it is. I mean, if you were playing with some of them Man United players, I think a lot of people would be sulking.
He's been a massive positive for Manchester United in an era where they haven't had a lot of positives.
Should he be captain? That's the question.
The sad thing
would
is,
he flourish even more if he wasn't?
Maybe. And true Joe Root style, you mean? Yeah, I get that. But the obvious question would be, who are you giving it to?
Yeah, and that's been the issue. That's been the issue.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So, is he the most suitable for it in amongst that squad? Probably. You know? But I don't get the criticism of him, really. I think it is over the top. Some of the stuff he does all the gestures, and that's a kind of a European thing, hands up in the air and all that stuff. But what really matters is his level of performance on the pitch, and I think over the period he's been very good.
I agree. I mean, most successful signing post Fergie?
Cool.
Got to be. I mean, it ain't going to be Anthony, Donny van der Beek, the return of Paul Pogba or Alexis Sanchez, is it?
No. And it is his birthday.
We'll give him that.
Well, Harry Maguire, you could argue as well.
And Amad Diallo as well has obviously been good.
Yeah,
but obviously there's been a lot of reports about the future of Bruno. talkSPORT understands that he turned down 3 approaches from the Saudi Pro League in the summer. You know, he is 31. He's normally in that number 10 position. They've brought in Matthias Cunha and Brian Mbeumo. You know, Bruno can play in the deeper midfield role, but that's not really where he seems the most comfortable.
He'd be better. See, in that position, he's far better in that position when Manchester United are controlling the game.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's great defensively. I saw him interrupt you, Angela.
No.
I went. One game that sticks in my mind was at Everton, where Everton gave Man United a bit of going over, and he actually dropped back deeper, and he took control of the game, and started doing well. And United came back into it, and I think the game ended up a draw. But it's the age-old dilemma. He's probably got far too much quality in terms of creation to be playing in that role.
And that's it. And if they've got these 2 number 10s in, do you think that they are maybe preparing to cash in on Bruno Fernandes?
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I admire the fact that he's stuck around. I think the fact that he's got Ruben Amorim in as a manager is going to encourage him to stay even more. Look, they've got to prepare for the future, and I'm sure he's going to get offers to go to Saudi in a year or 2 as well. They're not going to go away.
No chance.
And by the way,
even got on the phone, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Martin, the Forest fan, says, "Are you sure you got Bruno's age right? I've seen him on the football pitch. He must be 3 or 4.
Leave him alone.
What's the general take from Manchester United fans on Bruno Fernandes?
I think a few people get a bit frustrated with a little bit of the petulance, but I think the majority of fans do look at it and think, I'd probably be feeling the same if I was playing with some of those players. So I think a lot of people understand it. I think overall he's been a good captain. I think you hear about the stories off the pitch of him, you know, helping members of staff, wanting to try and pay for staff to travel to Wembley for cup finals, etc. So I think overall, I think he's been a really good captain.
I couldn't disagree with that. What about how long is it going to take? Because I just think I think United have signed good players in forward areas, but I think Amorim's it's going to take, I don't know, you tell me, 3 or 4 windows. Because
at least.
I think that actually a good window getting players out, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Which in the modern day can be just as important.
Yeah, although some of them could be coming back.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's the thing.
I mean, already stories about Marcus Rashford coming out of Spain, which is amazing, saying that,
3 games.
he's not cutting the mustard and they might be sending him back in January,
Wow.
So, anyway, we shall see. I'm a Bruno Fernandes fan. I've got to say, I do love his passion for the game. Just don't think he's an ideal captain. But you're absolutely right, Angela. They haven't got many options. Just haven't got many options.
And happy birthday to him.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Angelina. Up next, we'll be asking our American sports correspondent whether Mauricio Pochettino could be in danger of losing the USA job before the World Cup.
It's not often you associate fan power with Chelsea Football Club, but one of the shining examples of it lies with a group called the Chelsea Pitch Owners. And they've proved to be the thorn in the side of owners past and present who've been dead set on moving stadiums to a larger, more lucrative piece of land. Essentially, the supporters group holds the freehold to the land on which Stamford Bridge sits. Former owner Ken Bates set it up at a time where some unruly property developers tried to evict the club from their ground. In order to prevent this, he established the CPO as a company that owned the pitch and offered the fans the chance to buy a share for £100. As well as that, they also own the rights to the name Chelsea Football Club, so if any owner wants to take them elsewhere, they can't be called Chelsea without the approval from the CPO. Now in 2011, Roman Abramovich tried and failed to move them away from Stamford Bridge, and this has set a precedent for Todd Bowley and the current power brokers at Chelsea. They know any plan which involves moving from Stamford Bridge will require CPO approval from the now 13,000 fans who own it. There are fans who are concerned that if they stay at the bridge, they'll be left behind their domestic and European rivals who are moving to more commercially successful stadiums. But for the heritage and history lovers, Stamford Bridge is one of the iconic English stadiums, and to move away would be a grave mistake. It might not be as flashy as others, but stadiums like it have something about them that cannot be replaced. One thing's for sure, if Bowley wants to take Chelsea away from their home, he'll have to go through the CPO first.
Good morning, 7:31. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and Arnold Clark gets £750 off any used electric car or home charger. Our biggest competition to date is live. We're giving you the chance to win Oasis tickets plus a whopping 25 grand. Two lucky winners, not one but two, will win a pair of Oasis tickets when they return to Wembley on September 27th. And alongside those tickets, we're giving you the chance to win that whopping 25 grand. For all the details on how to enter this amazing competition, listen up right now.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 3338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a TalkSPORT limited promotion run on TalkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
And the very best of luck to you. Morning, Jeff and Ali, says Brian from Liverpool. Can you find out why England are playing two pointless 2020 games a day before and after 2020 finals day? My team, Lancashire, will lose 6 players. Is this the most ridiculous piece of planning by any organisation ever? The ECB. Yet again, it's a very interesting point, Brian, because I think those 2020s, the second and third against South Africa, they're wedged either side of 2020's final day. So I've no idea what they're thinking behind that, was to be absolutely honest. And now Mauricio Pochettino's reign in the as manager of the USA national team has been a bit mixed.
To say the least.
1-10, lost 7, lost to South Korea over the weekend.
Yeah.
They are, of course, hosts of the World Cup next summer, and that's Pochettino's target. He doesn't really care, or shouldn't care, what happens now. We talk the same way, don't we, about Thomas Tuchel? It's just
doing the same thing, yeah.
Getting through qualifying. But he's being criticised in many circles at the moment. Let's get more on this and bring in our US sports correspondent, Brian T. Smith. Morning, Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
Morning, gentlemen. It's great to see you. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. You too, mate.
It seems, Brian, I mean, Alexi Lalas, Bruce Arena, the media, they're lining up to have a dig, aren't they, at Mauricio Pochettino?
They really are. And look, this was a splashy hire when they made it because he has the name, but was it a good hire? Was it the hire that they needed? This team, not just Pochettino, not just the players, the whole thing just looks very, very soft right now. They're only in the World Cup because they're hosting the World Cup. And for all of the money they spend, I still question if the talent is actually where it should be. And Pochettino, it didn't end well at Chelsea. You know, I mean, he had a young Chelsea team, but people felt like maybe he would stay. He ends up getting pushed out. Chelsea has gone on and been much better under Maresca in the last year plus. And this whole thing just seems like it's not working. And they're going to host the World Cup. So if they're an early knockout in the World Cup, what an embarrassment for the U.S. men's national team.
I was going to say to you, Brian, maybe the first team I can ever remember, there clearly looks more talent to the north. Canada have got some fantastic players. But are we seriously saying at this particular time with the World Cup looming that his job's under threat?
You know, Ali, this is what I think is interesting. I was thinking about this morning, prepping to be on the radio. We just went to the transfer deadline for the Premier League. It was the greatest, craziest transfer deadline of all time. And all the players that we were talking about, obviously, were international players. I mean, the best players in the United States are not in the Premier League. That's just a fact. I mean, you know, you have a couple anomalies and some good talent, but the talent is not there. So I don't know how much the manager could actually be affecting this. It's not like it went great for the last manager. I mean, it was a very disappointing U.S. men's national team. I don't think it helps when you have all these former players constantly taking shots at the current team. It just seems like the whole thing is off. I don't know what would fix it. I do know that this is not how you win a World Cup in the United States of America.
What's the public expectation of Pochettino and the team in the World Cup there? I mean, do the public believe that, hey, this is the USA, we could win the thing?
I'm going to be completely honest with you, Jeff. I don't think so. American fans who follow football, European football, the national football, they follow the Premier League. They're following, you know, they're following football in Latin America. It's bigger over there. It's still a sport that they're trying to grow. So if you don't have the talent on the field and you have a manager that most American fans don't know, he's much bigger in England, he's much bigger in Europe than he is in the United States of America. The whole thing just seems off in terms of expectations. They have to make it past the group stage. You know, you got to get into the knockout rounds. You can't just be gifted into the World Cup just because you're hosting the World Cup. But my biggest problem is they have too much money. They have too many incredible facilities. This has been decades in the making. The whole organization, the manager, the players, the whole operation should be better than this. And I think American fans are smart enough to know that.
Can we move on to tennis? You fancy moving on to a bit of tennis? Was that a surprising result to you in the respect that between the two guys, Sinner and Alcaraz, Brian, Jeff and I were having a little discussion this morning. Jeff reckons that might be the first sign of a gap between the two of them. I'm not so sure. I was a little bit surprised at the dominance, how comfortable Alcaraz won it.
Yeah, Ali, it's interesting. We have all this covered at talksport.com and our new social media accounts at TalkSport USA for Facebook, Twitter, etc. I look at Carlos Alcaraz. I just feel like he is the best pound per pound athlete in the world right now. Now, I know he lost to Sinner at Wimbledon, but when I look at Alcaraz with his power, his speed, his precision, his use, all of the pressure that he came into, where you had Nadal and you had Djokovic and you had Federer and you had Andy Murray. I'm sorry, like I look at Carlos Alcaraz, that is the future of tennis to me right now. And when he is on, when he's not making his own mistakes, when he is performing at his highest level, I feel like he is the best athlete in the world right now. And he dominated Sinner on Sunday night at the U.S. Open.
He was sensational. It was the first weekend, of course, of the new NFL season as well, Brian. I was looking at some betting, you know, and I saw Baltimore Ravens favourite for the Super Bowl with a lot of markets, and they got turned over. Well, I mean, and they weren't the only ones, by the way, were there? One or two shocks on that opening weekend.
No, but Brian, before you start, I mean, I couldn't take my eyes off. It was unbelievable. It kicked off early with plenty of controversy with a spitting incident, and then the Bills 3 scores in the last, whatever it was, 6-7 minutes to win the game. It was a great start in terms of excitement.
Ali, I could not agree with you more here. 100,000%. And of course, we have all this covered at talksport.com and TalkSport USA. This was the opening weekend from heaven for the NFL, right? It started fascinating. The Chiefs are in Brazil and they actually lose. So now we have a little Chiefs drama. You had incredible offenses, and the Sunday night game Monday morning over here that I'll be writing about today and we'll be talking about with Will Gavin on our NFL show on YouTube. Goes down to the last second. This is why we have fun here, right? We can talk about the Premier League and the NFL. This is why the NFL is so exciting, is so big in America, because the offenses are incredible. The Lions lost to the Packers, the Ravens and Bills, 2 MVPs going down to the last second. It was a perfect opening weekend for the NFL, and there's 6 months still to go before we get to the Super Bowl in San Francisco.
Yeah.
How are my Rams going to do, Brian?
The Rams are really good, Alec. The Rams, good defense. Matthew Stafford actually played. He was healthy. They beat a good Texans team.
Yeah.
A key fumble at the end. The Rams right now are a sleeper pick to make the Super Bowl in the NFC.
I'll do for me. If that's the case, I'll see you there, mate.
Don't soft soap him. Don't soft soap him.
If that's the case, I'll see you there, Brian.
Brian, thank you very much
I'll
indeed,
see you in the
mate.
Super Bowl, Ali.
Great stuff, mate.
Take care, Brian.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Back to the to English football now. Alexander said England are better off without Jude Bellingham, Marcus Rashford and Harry Kane. While 2 of these might be 2 of the best strikers in the world, they're just not team players. Kane is a great finisher. I think England would do much better with an aggressive attacking lineup consisting of eager players who are not prima donnas.
I mean, that's nonsense. There's no bigger team player than Harry Kane. What are you thinking? No, don't tell me you're agreeing with him.
No, Harry Kane I think he's a complete team player.
So do I.
You know, I mean, whether he should be automatically left on for 90 minutes every game.
No, I take your point.
Matter.
I think you make a very valid point about, at the weekend, particularly Wally Watkins.
Yeah.
Surely, Jared Bowen, I'm a fan of, as you know, as well.
Stuart has texted in, just talking about American players playing in the Premier League. Stuart texted in and said, disrespect for Palace's Chris Titchards right there. Epic player. And he's then sent a correction to say Richards. Stuart, you didn't need to send a correction. I think we knew exactly.
Yeah, we knew what you meant. Don't worry about that.
And by the way, he's been fantastic.
He really has.
He really has.
The 3 centre-backs have been fantastic.
Oh, haven't they just? A lot of I've bumped into a lot of Palace fans actually over the last week or so, all asking, how do you think we're going to do this season? How are you going to think we're going to do?
I just think an absolute breath of fresh air.
Yeah. I mean, 10th to 15th is the regular finishing position, isn't it? Yeah. And I think top 10 would be their aim, bearing in mind they've got European football.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's a massive thing. It affects them all. We saw it affect Newcastle, Aston Villa, and it will affect Palace because you've got to have a massive, massive squad, and they don't have that. However, I'm with you, mate. I'm really enjoying watching them.
Yeah, me too. Really good side to watch. Remember, if you're an NFL fan, by the way, talkSPORT has you covered this season. More than 90 games between the regular season, playoffs and Super Bowl, and more digital coverage than ever on our website.
Fair play.
Yeah, and the talkSPORT USA YouTube page. Yep. Yeah, looking forward to the
boys are great on it.
Matches.
Will and the boys, magic it is.
Fantastic. All right, still to come on breakfast.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Doing what matters for the trade. Find your local branch at travisperkins.co.uk.
We will carry on breaking down that England performance after Thomas Tuchel promised this.
We will free up the players a little bit and we will give solutions to break down a 5-4-1.
Does it look like our attacking players are being given freedom so far? 03717223344. Get your calls in, have your say. You can also have your say on a question raised just then by Brian Carlos Alcaraz, the best pound-for-pound athlete in the world. Impossible to prove. Give us a call if you agree or disagree.
It's a great talking point, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So give us a call. 03717223344. That was our look ahead with Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Bricks on bricks on bricks. Over 40 million available to order with delivery to site. That's one less thing to worry about.
Good morning, 7:50. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me right through until 10 o'clock. Matt's texted, can you give out a shout out for Matty Cash? Scored again for Poland last night.
He won against Finland.
He's having a fantastic run.
Great to see.
Morning, boys, says Jim the greenkeeper at Kingswood. He said, can you give all the ex-pros a shout out who are playing here today at Kingswood in aid of the Bobby Moore charity? It's a great charity as well. And another one here from Ken from Denton in Manchester. Morning, Jeff and Ali. Great sport yesterday. Top-class US men's tennis final, it really was. Superb first century by Jacob Bethel in the one-day international against South Africa. The highlight for me, however, was Rory McIlroy's eagle on the 72nd hole of the Irish Golf Open to force a playoff, which, of course, he went on to win in the end. And the magic reaction from the crowd, it was absolutely brilliant. It was what we needed in a weekend when not all the football was absolutely gripping. What else do we know this Monday morning? Manchester United goalkeeper Andrea Nana has apparently agreed a loan move to the Turkish side Trabzonspor. Carlos Alcaraz, as we mentioned, produced an absolutely breathtaking performance to dismiss Yannick Sinner in the US Open final last night. And reports from France suggest that the Arsenal centre-back William Saliba will be out for 3 to 4 weeks. Saliba joining White, Norgard, Saka, Jesus and Havertz on the injury side.
By the way, Jeff, I think that's the third. Because I think I read somewhere that Dewey and Dembele are out for 5-6 weeks as well. So, I mean, that's been in terms of injuries, I think that's been a horrendous period for the French.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the French are concerned, it is. As far as Arsenal are concerned, I'm just going to say, don't have a go at me, Arsenal fans. But other football fans, you won't get a lot of sympathy, having spent, 250 million. And the boy at Anfield, by the way, who came in...
Did really well.
Really well. He looked like... he's only young, I think he's 21. He looked a great prospect, Christian Mosquera. For more on all the day's biggest stories, head over to our website, talksport.com. And now Nick Ellaby's with us in the studio. Nick, what have you got for us?
What have you got, Nick?
Yeah, morning, boys. Usually we like to keep politics out of sport here on talkSPORT, but sometimes, you can't really... You can't really stop the clash of these two spheres of the of the world. Now, Nottingham Forest owner Evangelos Marinakis has made some eyebrow-raising comments suggesting Ukraine should give away land to Russia to help stop the war there. Just days after the club signed Ukraine footballer Alexander Zinchenko. Amazingly, Marinakis actually clashed with Boris Johnson at an economic summit in Greece on Thursday. We know Boris is a huge supporter of Ukraine.
What was Boris Johnson doing at an economic summit?
He'll take the money for speaking absolutely anywhere, as we are well aware. Now, Marinakis and Johnson were talking about Vladimir Putin's war in Ukraine. When Marinakis made these comments, here are the quotes. Marinakis says, "What I would prefer is for children to stop dying." I think we can all agree there.
And that's a fair point.
And let Russia keep some of Ukraine's territory and stop this war. That's a fair compromise. Let's stop the war. Boris Johnson asked him, well, how much of Ukraine would you hand over? Boris getting quite heated at this stage. How much of Ukraine would be fair to hand over to the aggressor to stop the war? How much of Czechoslovakia would you have given to Hitler? Marinakis says it's not the same. Johnson, it is the same. It's exactly the same. It's identical. This is Boris Johnson saying, if we're weak now, we'll pay for it later on. So these comments have caused a lot of, a lot of consternation, certainly in Ukraine. This morning I've spoken to British-Ukrainian football journalist Andrew Todos, and I started by asking him what reaction there's been in Ukraine to Marinakis' comments.
They've not gone down well, to say the least. The majority of the Ukrainian media, lots of high-profile figures have reacted extremely, as expected, disappointed and angry at those comments, especially with the context that Zinchenko has just moved there. We will see what the reaction is going forward once Zinchenko actually ends up going to Forest, because he's not been there yet due to the international break. But it's not the best of starts, and knowing Marinakis' history, we probably should not have been that surprised.
And do we have any idea of how Zinchenko's feeling about this personally?
He's not made any comments relating to the incident just yet, but however, I think it went viral post Ukraine-France, and as a result of that, there might be a few opportunities to ask him about that in the coming days towards the end of this international break. Just yesterday, his international teammate, Georgi Sudakov, he plays for Benfica, had his apartment building partially destroyed by a Russian Shahed drone. So Zinchenko shared that. Evidently, he remains a Ukraine United 24 ambassador, which is Zelensky's charitable foundation. And as a result of that, I'm sure that he is not sitting particularly well if you add on top of the fact that he's not in the Europa League squad either.
So we could expect maybe some comments in the next couple of days, some reaction from Zinchenko, who's with Ukraine at the moment on international duty. Bit of background, this war started in February 2014, and then in February 2022, this is Putin's war, really. He invaded Ukraine. There have been 14,000 casualties, at least so far, 800 of those children. We know Alexander Zinchenko is a supporter of Ukraine's President Zelensky. We spoke to him a couple of years back around that game for Ukraine that we covered to support families affected by the war. And here's what Zinchenko said about Zelensky and his support.
Using that opportunity, I told him from my side and from my family that we are so proud of our president. All this process, how people work around, it's incredible. The energy, the commitment, I'm pretty sure with these people, Ukraine have a bright future.
So Zinchenko, supporter of Zelensky and obviously a supporter of what's happening back home to his country. And I think we can expect this story to run for a couple of days and expecting to hear from Zinchenko on this.
Why would you get yourself involved? Why, that's the baffling thing. Was he sucked into it? I mean, that is something that you would absolutely steer clear of.
Well, we know Marinakis is absolutely, he doesn't shy away of saying the controversial.
Well, for sure. But, I mean, it is controversial. Could you imagine he's probably alienated? His opinion wouldn't be certainly the minority in this country. But as you say, he's entitled to his opinion. But I tell you what a can of worms that could open.
Absolutely. And, you know, to sort of back up what Marinakis is saying, what he wants is for the war to stop and for the killing to stop.
We all do, yeah.
You know, giving territory away to an aggressor is maybe not the best way forward.
Look, the thoughts of Angelos Marinakis are the least of Ukrainians' concerns at the moment. Nick, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Nick.
Coming up, we'll keep you up to date with, what's happening in terms of the England squad. They go to Serbia tomorrow. We'll take your calls on whether we'll ever see the exciting version of England that Thomas Tuchel promised.
did it all begin? Incredibly, the first Lions tour was organised and funded by three men who played in England's first ever Test cricket match: opening bowler Alfred Shaw, opening batsman Arthur Shrewsbury and captain James Lillywhite. The 1888 Lions squad, then made up of 17 English, 4 Scots and 1 Welshman and a Northern Irishman, took a 46-day boat trip to New Zealand before heading to Australia. The Lions weren't alone on the boat. Also on board were 300 stoats and weasels, who were brought over to eliminate New Zealand's rabbit problem. The first ever Lions captain, Robert Seddon, died of drowning midway through the tour while sculling on a river. Andrew Stoddart, who was another of the cricketers there, took over and was the star of the tour. The next one was the first to get official recognition from the RFU against the newly formed Springboks. Although the Lions won the series and beat the Boks again 5 years later, in the 12 series since in South Africa, they've only won 2. New Zealand has proved an even tougher hunting ground, just the 1 series win for the Lions in 11 attempts, which came in 1971. And then there was that nail-shredding drawn series in 2017, only the second in Lions history. Only once have the Lions clinched a series after losing the first test, 1989, when David Campese's infamous ghost pass was pounced upon by Ian Evans. Before World War II, the Lions had a dark blue strip, which on the 1930 tour forced the All Blacks to play in all white. So in 1950, the iconic red shirts, white shorts and blue and green socks combination was born. It remains the symbol of the greatest alliance of adversaries in all of sport. To borrow the phrase from Jim Telfer, the Lions is Everest.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. It's 3 minutes past 8. Me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. Now we're having a giggle because...
Have you any breaking news for me?
You know, well, Gary, the Spurs fan, has just texted. He said, "Can you tell Ali to take that cap off?" I'm not going to repeat what he says you look like.
I read it, Gary. Gary, I'm hiding what's underneath me. Cut me a bit of slack, please. In terms of breaking news, have you got a room for the night? That's the breaking news.
I haven't got a room for the night, not at the moment, no.
You'll get one, mate.
Well, I will. I have got a room for the night, but it's not on the hotel that I was at last night. So, consequently, I've got to leave the hotel I was at last night around 10 o'clock and not check into the other hotel till 3, and it's about a 7-minute walk, you know, so anyway.
I know, I'm on to wind you up.
They're trying to sort something out for me at
They'll do it.
The lovely London Bridge Hotel.
They're great, man. They're great.
Yeah, and I am one of your most loyal customers. Anybody's watching there now.
That's a cry for help if ever there was one.
Yeah, apparently they said that they could throw Mr. McCoist out and give me his room. Right, on the way for you this morning, Fraser Clark will be with us. He'll be looking ahead to Joseph Parker against Fraser Wardley in Fabio Wardley in October. The reason I said that was it says Joe Wardley. Who's Joe Wardley? I have no idea. Which is live on talkSPORT. And of course, Fraser's got a British title fight coming up himself. Yep. The Oldham manager, Mickey Mellon, will join the show after his son, Michael Mellon, would you believe, scored the winning goal for Oldham against Cambridge. It was their first win of the season, and by coincidence, of course, at the weekend as well, Charlie Wellens got the winning goal for his dad, the manager of Leyton Orient, Richie Wellens. And former Manchester United goalkeeper Raymond van der Houw will join us after Andre Onana has apparently agreed to leave Manchester United on loan, heading for Turkey. How much pressure is there on the man between the Manchester United goalposts? But now, when Thomas Tuchel took the England job, he promised the fans that they would see exciting football. Well, after 5 games in charge, we're still waiting to see it.
I think we should play an attacking style of football. This is what excites our supporters.
Louis Skelly chasing. Oh, what a start to his international career. The buzz of Thomas Tuchel's reign.
Tuchel said he wanted his England to excite us. Well, that didn't happen.
He suddenly realised very quickly, okay, this is a little bit more difficult than I thought.
We need to show more. We will not get away with a lot of points if we play like this.
A win with a lot of questions attached to it as well. For certain situations.
Kamara knocking it square to his left-hand side. Henderson is beaten, and so too are England. 3-1 to Senegal.
I think we have everything to play with this high energy, but we don't see it often enough on a international level. Since we are on the job, how can we inject this?
Way back to Gahey, 4 towards James. Kane making an early run. It's Rice coming round the back. He's headed it in for 2. Clearly still a lot to work on, but there were positives. England 2, Andorra 0.
There were positives. What were they, Coisty?
Well, the result, the clean sheet, that's it. Move on.
No, it's Andorra, for goodness
No, I know, it's a game you should be winning. I understand the disappointment. Do you know, okay, do you know what I think?
Elliot Anderson, maybe, that's a positive.
Yeah, of course it is. But when you play teams, particularly teams like Andorra with a low block, the one thing I think you've got to have are players in your team that can beat people, particularly in wide areas, to make things open up. And, you know, Magic, I think, can do it. Rashford, I'm not so sure about. I haven't seen enough of Marcus Rashford this season, to be honest with you. But I'm looking, I just did a quick look there, and you're talking about Spain beating Turkey 6-0.
Yeah.
Wide men, Nico Williams and Yamal.
Not bad.
They beat people. They're going to take people on. They beat people. They make things happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure England have got that.
No, completely. I give you a list of teams beforehand who demolished lesser sides, if you like. Portugal, Italy, Greece, Belgium twice over the course of the weekend. And it sort of puts England's victory over Andorra into a little perspective, I suppose. Mind you, there can't be a less adventurous side in world football than Andorra. They come with one aim and one aim.
Just to back that up there, French, wide players, Bradley Barcola, Dewey.
Yeah.
They've all got one thing in common.
Yeah.
They'll isolate somebody, go and take them on, and the picture changes as soon as they go by somebody.
Yeah, completely agree. Well, look, we've given you our opinions on the England performance. We will talk about Scotland a bit later, by the way. As well, we had a text in from Jack, who's the owner of Simon's Bar in Renfrew. Come on, Scotland played tonight. How about mentioning and discussing the game? It's not all about England. Well, we will talk about them a little bit later. But let's get some views on England. Derek's Spurs and England fan. He's given us a call. Morning, Derek.
Morning, Derek.
How you doing, boys?
Yeah, excellent, mate. Good, mate, good.
I'm on my way to play golf, but I'm fed up with all this turgid nonsense about Kane. He carries the whole of the back line on his shoulders because England don't know how to go on the outside to the byline. He's got 3 heavyweights on his back everywhere he goes, and England cut inside. Where was the old days of Steve Coppell going to the byline and picking his toe under the ball to the back post?
Yeah.
Turning defenders around facing their own goals. They play right wingers on the left wingers on the right. They can do nothing but cut inside. Turn them round. Kane, he's like a submarine operating along the back row, and he's got all five or six players on his shoulders everywhere he goes. And these people say he can't play. He's not a team player. He carries the weight of England and has done for years. If he played for Man City, he would have broken Shearer's record 5 years to spare.
Derek, I don't disagree with you, mate. I don't know if you heard what I said. I said that's the one thing.
Listen, Ali, you said the perfect thing.
Yeah,
wingers.
The wide players, wingers, absolutely. I just mentioned 2 of the best countries in the world right now, France and Spain, and the one thing they've got in common is people in wide areas that can do a bit of damage, mate.
And not only that, Ali, They frighten them because they turn them.
Yeah.
They don't know what's happening. They end up facing their own byline.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So, are you underwhelmed what you've seen from Thomas Tuchel's England so far?
He ain't got a Scooby, has he? Trust me, he hasn't got a Scooby. You start with a manager not having a plan. I've been at Spurs so many years, and they talk about Spurs players ain't got a plan B. He ain't got a plan A. He's got some of the best players in the world operating solo, not as a unit. And that's the problem. So he's got the best players in the world, some of them, and they're operating, because they're good, he's expecting them to do it. Where's his plan? Get the right wingers on the right, get the left wingers on the left and say, go round the outside at the start of the game. Frighten the defender. He ain't coming forward, not when he thinks you're going past him.
Derek, thank you very much.
I hope your putch can down like Rory's today, mate.
Yeah, lovely, thank you. I'm on my way to play for the club, which is the one that Jim came in for. And can I just pass on my best wishes for the boys at Kingswood?
Lovely, mate. Well done, pal.
Good lad, Derek. Have a good one.
Bye.
Dawes has texted, said England basically played Doncaster on Saturday, same population. A lot of texts about wingers as well. A lot of people wanting to see them, and a lot of people, Coasty, wanting to see Jack Grealish, who would have thrived against Andorra. The new look Jack Grealish, yeah,
absolutely.
You know, but maybe we need to see it more often for Everton first.
I think we might. I think
we might.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he may. I'm just reading this as it comes in. John says, morning, Jeff, morning, Ali. Andorra away, Senegal home back in June was poor. I was the first to criticise Tuchel and his selection, including Jordan Henderson. However, Saturday gone, Andorra at home, I felt Tuchel picked the strongest 11 available. Would you have picked any different 11 on Saturday? That's not the point. The point isn't who you would have picked. The point is how they played, how they were set up to play. And you're right, Webber, when you say Andorra was stubborn, and yes, Tuchel should have made changes, for instance, taking Harry Kane off earlier. But I just felt that, you know, the way we don't play with real pace. Yeah, Madueke, he got around the back a little bit. We don't play with real aggression. For me, we're not direct enough, and I hate the pass the ball sideways, pass the ball backwards, pass the ball sideways, pass the ball backward. And George has just texted saying it's crazy that Jarrod Bowen is currently England's most in-form winner. He has the most goal involvements in the Premier League since April, and he can't get 5 minutes for England. If he played for an Arsenal or Liverpool, he would start every game.
I said that, Graham. I said it, Graham.
Yeah, I think that is, you know, pretty much spot on. Scotland playing this evening then. Belarus?
Well, I'll tell you right now, this is where we're different, right? And I get it totally. I'll take a 1-0 right now. Don't care how we play. I've got no interest. Well, I have got an interest. That's a silly thing to say. But I tell you, my greater interest is a victory. Must win. Absolutely.
Is it already a must win? I thought it was a great result.
Brilliant.
A great result in Copenhagen.
We've gone. I'll give you my opinion on our opening 2 games. Our opening game against Denmark was a must not get beat. Right, and this one's a must-win, right? Because there's only 6 games. I heard a brilliant line they were talking about it on the I think it was a sports show yesterday morning. It was in talkSPORT yesterday morning, where Scotland's campaign has been described as a sprint, not a marathon, right? And it is. It really is. Because we'll know our destination, our fate within, I think, about 3 months. So, silly thing to say, but it's like an obvious one. I actually didn't think we could afford to lose on Friday night. And we didn't. We could have won the game. Yeah. We had a couple of chances. I say Christian the header, and big fella Dyke should have hit the one earlier. Comes across to him, should have hit it earlier. Take a point. It's a good point. But this is the game we now need to win. Massive game coming up now.
Yeah, you've got a good midfield, haven't you? Look at it now.
I think we've got better than a good midfield.
And Lewis Ferguson.
Yeah. I think we've got a great midfield. I'd take it a step further. We've got a great midfield. The boys defended like they normally do. We still lack, as we have done for I don't know how many years, the little bit of quality in terms of finishing up front. That's the one thing that we've lacked. But Stevie Clark is organised. We've got an excellent midfield. You know, the defenders will defend. this in many ways is a it's in the biggest way, it's a different proposition for us tonight, Jeff, because in some ways we're suited to playing away from home against a team that fancies themselves against us. That actually, we're quite suited to do that because of the shape of our team, because of the players within the team. Tonight, I'm starting Doak all day.
Yeah.
Wee man's got to start. Because what does he do? He goes by people.
A lot of people were surprised that he didn't start against Denmark.
He goes by people. Yeah. He creates things.
He is one of those wide players. He does see
100%.
Yeah.
So you're listening, Steve. Get him starting tonight, mate.
Okay. Up next, Peter Crouch was demoted from player to mascot over the weekend. More on that after this. Good morning, 20 minutes past 8 on Monday, September the 8th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with me now. Losing your fantasy football league can lead to some fairly nasty forfeits. Examples include busking on the streets for 20 minutes, posing naked in a still life drawing class. Don't go there. Or having to sit in a McDonald's for 24 hours straight. Well, that's worse. Well, a certain Peter Crouch was the unlucky loser of his fantasy football league last season. As his forfeit, these were great pictures, by the way, he was forced to be a mascot at non-league Farnham Town's game over the weekend. It's led to a video that's doing the rounds on socials of him lining up alongside all the other child mascots and towering over the players that he is.
Have you seen it?
Mascotting for. Yeah, brilliant.
It's fantastic. The big fella, he's different class, isn't he?
Well, he is, because a lot of people would have just said, no.
Exactly.
Not doing this, not
exactly.
doing it.
I just think it's brilliant. I really do.
Yeah.
It sums a big fella up.
It's one of the things that always makes me, and I think other football fans, smile. It's when you get an adult as a mascot. And it does happen from time to time, doesn't it? You know, and they can tower over the player they're alongside. But the pictures were very, very good indeed.
But listen, before we move on, I was looking at the National League. There was some journeys, wasn't there?
Oh yeah,
I had to feel for the Truro City team boss. That's a long way after a 3-0 defeat.
870 miles Truro to Carlisle. 78 fans made the journey.
Well played.
Next up for them, next away game is Scunthorpe. It's only around 750.
Oh my goodness. And then it's another tough one. I'm thinking, where did I see it? Was it Gateshead at Woking? That'd be another journey as well.
That's a journey, yeah, you know. Well, we had a journey, you know, Hartlepool to Forest Green. Is not easy. And
he's
look,
doing all right, Robbie.
Sav would never let me, he'd never forgive me if I didn't mention it.
He's doing all right,
They are top of the table, they're unbeaten. They don't concede any goals. They beat us 1-0 on Saturday. So well done to them, say, top of the pile. And he's got a lot of new players in there as well. And, you know, something's happening up Forest Green and they're doing fantastic.
And who have we got? Is it Steve this morning from Coral rather than John Hill? Because John would 2-0 victory as well. Home to Braintree, sitting second, going well.
Do not mention Rochdale, please. Because the reason they're top of the table
I know.
is Manny Dizerouwe, who we allowed to leave last season.
Another two.
Another two at the weekend. He's the difference. He's got 7 in 7 so far for them. I mean, yeah, you know.
I'm saying at that. I was going to say at that level, that's priceless. At any level, it's priceless.
It brings a lot to
doesn't
teams. Oh, look. He holds the ball up brilliantly. He always puts a shift in.
Yeah.
He knows where the goal is. And defensively at set plays, I've not seen anybody better than him at that sort of level.
Yeah.
You know, he wins everything. He's a massive, massive asset to Rochdale. And, you know, he just happens to be a lovely bloke as well. So
that helps.
Yeah, it does help as well. Yeah. So well done to all of them. True, that's a walk in the park, though, isn't it? That trip, you know, to Carlisle. People say a record trip, and it is. But when they go to Hartlepool, that's further. And when they go to Gateshead, that's further again.
Of course it is, because I would imagine, I know it sounds crazy, M6 straight up to Carlisle, but you've got to cut across.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Don't I know it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, look, in the Football League, by the way, at the weekend, should mention maybe Shrewsbury's first win of the season at Barnet, so well done to them. And Cheltenham's first win at home to Accrington. They gave a debut to a kid called Isaac Hutchinson. They signed him on loan. They got a free kick in the first minute, 20 yards out. He took it and scored. That's the way to announce yourself, isn't it? Although it could be the expectations for Isaac are going to be pretty high from now on. Okay, high time we got the latest odds with Coral and Dave Stevens.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for it. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Steve-O, good morning to you.
Morning, Steve-O.
Gentlemen, a very, very good morning. Don't worry, Rochdale fans, I am not going to jump on the bandwagon, but John Hill has messaged he's very, very happy with the way it's going. When's the big Hartlepool Rochdale? When's the first show down there, Jeff?
I think it's December the 30th, Steve-O. It's sort of Christmas, New Year time, but look...
You want a ticket, Steve-O?
Sorry. I wouldn't deprive a proper fan, Ali. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh out loud. That was a terrible reaction.
Yeah. It certainly was.
And by the way, you can tell John that he's barred until they start losing, okay?
Listen, mate, on to really important matters. What price are the Scots tonight?
Well, your odds on, Ali, and quite firm odds on favourites as well. I heard you saying there you take a 1-0. That is just 4-1. A 1-0 to Scotland, obviously, that is. 8-15 to win the game. 6-1 Belarus. 3-1 the draw. The form's been good, Ali, under Steve Clarke, isn't it? And on your travels, good Nations League results. Good point against Denmark. So, optimism. Is Scott McTominay going to be fit, Ali, though? Because we know
he's massive for us. He's massive for us, Steve. Midfield's the strongest part of our team. There's no doubt about it. I was just saying to Jeff, the only concern I would have, the game tonight's different, and I'm not saying we struggle. We don't struggle, but it's a completely different proposition to the way they'll set up against Denmark. They've got to go and win the game tonight. And in doing that, you've got to open up and you've got your flair players to go and create things. So, but difficult challenge for us. But if we go and win the games, we'll take 4 points out of 6 for opening 2 games, mate.
Yeah, and no fans, of course, Jeff, which is, it's always hard, not having the Tartan army there. Just quick, the other game in that group, obviously Greece-Denmark, 6-4 Greece off the back of they put 5 past Belarus, 2-1 Denmark, 2-1 the draw. So very close, that the other game in that group.
Yeah, and just looking ahead 24 hours, England go to Serbia, by far their most difficult game under Thomas Tuchel so far. England favourites?
They are, Jeff. They're odds on. And look, I'm going to confess, I was on holiday last week, so I didn't watch the Andorra-England game. It sounds like I've absolutely dodged one. But do we want to be back in England at 4-5? It's going to be hostile. It's going to be. They're going to have to fight there tomorrow night, aren't they? Serbia shade over 3-1, 27-10 the draw there. I've got to say, in Simon Clare's absence, Jack Grealish has got to play. Simon is Jack's biggest fan, but I don't know. Is that what was missing against Andorra? Do they need that creative spark, that player that can make something happen? But we heard from Derek, the Spurs fan. Not a fan of Thomas Tuchel, is he, Derek?
Oh, he wasn't a fan. No. Steve, well, listen, we're talking about back in England there at 45. Are we back in Kilpanna to win the Arc?
No, definitely not. Not after. She was favourite for the Arc. She got beaten at Kempton. The Juddmonte filly got beaten in the September Stakes. It was Arc Trials Day then yesterday at Longchamp. 3 races over the big Arc course and distance. Avonture was the big winner. The filly who was second last year to Blue Stocking. She won the Prix Vermeil. She's 9-2, along with Minnie Hawk, Aidan O'Brien's filly. We haven't seen her. She's 9-2 as well. Other winners, Byzantine Dream for Japan, 10-1. Japan are going to win an Arc sooner rather than later. They try every year. Oisin Murphy rode this one to win the Prix Niel yesterday. The Prix Foire for the older horses. And then the other big trial winner was Qualificar in the Godolphin Blue. That one's a 20-1 shot. Just on the theme of racing, Ali, Jeff, just sending our best wishes to Jim Crowley and Trevor Whelan, 2 jockeys. Horrible incident at York yesterday. Looks like the pair of them might both have broken legs. I know it's going to sound strange. That might be a lucky outcome.
I know. I hear you, mate.
Both. But Jim, obviously a Coral ambassador. You know him well, Ali. You've met him with us several times. So wishing Jim and Trevor a speedy recovery.
Yeah, Steve, well said. Thank you very much indeed,
Thanks, Steve.
mate.
Have a good week, mate.
Cheers, fellas.
Shut up.
Lenny's texted, I agree with one of the previous callers. This cutting inside business is old hat now. Go round the outside of the full-back to pull him out of his comfort zone for a change. We played 2 or 3 number 10s at times, which isn't warranted. Dan Burn missed lots of passes to Eberechi Eze throughout the game when Eze was in space. Rashford thrives better when he has space in front of him, not stood in front of the low block. So it's sort of back to the future in people's minds, isn't it? Let's have some wingers attacking around the outside. That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to Coral 18+, gambleaware.org. Coming up, Raymond van der Houw will be along next, and we'll speak to an England fan who thinks there's been an overreaction to Saturday.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for it. 18+, begambleaware.org.
after that Ronaldo strike against Portsmouth in 2008 inspired academy players everywhere. Here's a young Mason Mount.
I tried to base my free kick on Ronaldo, hit the ball by the valve and it moves. So what do you do? Top corner.
Now, no ball is perfectly aerodynamic, so as it travels, it creates ever-changing pockets of turbulent air, causing that unpredictable movement. Football's most prolific free-kick taker, Juninho Pernambucano, perfected the technique but didn't invent it. He was inspired by players from the 90s and even the 50s. So how do you do it? You have to hit the ball head-on with as short a contact time as possible so the ball doesn't spin. Hitting by the valve helps with that short contact time, as it's the hardest part of the football. So why don't we see knuckleballs much anymore? It's because players are being told not to shoot from dead ball situations because the XG is so low. In fact, as Opta shows here, since the 08-09 season, there's been a 10% reduction in players shooting from free kicks in the Premier League. And in 23-24, a record low of 11 free kicks found the back of the net. And the knuckleball, though spectacular, is imprecise, which is why it's becoming a thing of the past.
Good morning, it is 8:35, Monday, September the 8th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and Arnold Clark. Get £750 off any used electric car or home charger. Paul says, morning Jeff and Ali, does it matter how we played? Tuchel has 4 wins out of 4 in the group so far. If he does end winning us the World Cup playing like this, no one will care in the air. We need to get behind the team rather than slating them. Well, I think, Paul, we won't win the World Cup playing like this. And the 4 out of 4, Andorra home and away, Latvia at home and Albania. And if we hadn't won 4 out of 4, there'd certainly be question marks being asked already about Thomas Tuchel. And bear in mind that friendly where we were taken to task by Senegal. I think people are entitled to ask questions about England performances. They don't have to agree with each other, of course. And now then we're discussing England, obviously, under Thomas Tuchel, whether the Andorra performances have been unacceptable. Kelvin Jack, former Trinidad and Tobago goalkeeper, played a bit in this country as well. They were in the same group as England in the 2006 World Cup. Kelvin was in the squad and he's given us a call. Morning, Kelvin.
Morning, Kelvin. How are you?
Morning. I'm all right. How are you doing, guys?
We're doing well, mate. We're in good form. Never mind anything else. How did you enjoy Dundee when you were up there?
It was very cold coming from the Caribbean, man. Very cold.
That's why I was asking, mate. I didn't think it'd be your climate.
Very cold.
Brilliant. So look, Kevin, why do you think we're overreacting to that performance?
I just think it's an overreaction, because there's a reason why only 7 countries have won the World Cup, because it's a very difficult competition to win. And I'm just absolutely stunned, when you look at the recent history of the national team, getting to the 2 Euro finals. That is very difficult to do. Very, very difficult to do. So I'm just absolutely astonished that, there is this big thing about, not looking at like playing romantic football or stylish football. It's about winning. So we just need to leave Thomas Tuchel, let him do his job. He's an experienced manager. Allow him the time and the space to get his ideas across. He's been in the job for 2 minutes. So I really cannot understand why fans are so much in uproar. English football is in a good place. 2 Euro finals, a World Cup semi-final, a World Cup quarter-final. We are close. So a bit more patience. Just support the team. Let the man do his job.
Kelvin, as a Scotsman, right, I actually couldn't agree with you more, right? I'm sitting here scratching my head, right? Like England, like no every other country, have absolutely no divine right to go and win major tournaments. They won it in 1966, right?
Yeah.
And since then, you can argue they've underachieved. Well, I think they've underachieved like you've absolutely no idea. And then recent years, they get to 2 finals and a World Cup semi-final, which I think, me personally, is unbelievable progress. I get the disappointment that Nick not getting over the final line if you went to win it, but nobody will tell me there hasn't been progress in England in the last, 10 years or something.
Oh, I think the progress has been magnificent. You know, I look at the team, some talented individuals. But we also have to remember we're not playing football by ourselves. You know, you're playing against good teams with the same ambition that you have of winning the tournament. So, you know, it's a matter of everyone just supporting the team. Thomas Tuchel knows more than all of us. He knows more than all of us. Give him his time, give him his space, give him the tranquility in which to work. Allow the players that time and space to work as well. They don't need to be putting the players under more pressure. The players are already under pressure, having to perform for and please 60 million people. So allow them that calmness that's required to be able to perform, and trust the manager. Trust it. You know, and I just can't get my head around, you know, why there's this huge criticism of it. Brazil have the same issue. They want to win the World Cup. Italy want to win the World Cup. Germany want to win the World Cup. You know, it's not easy. It is not an easy trophy to win.
Kelvin, thank you very much indeed for taking the time, mate.
From Dundee to Dover, you get about, boy.
No problem, Ali.
I think the difficulty is that England weren't doing any favours, not just by their own result, but by the fact that so many of the so-called big guns around Europe absolutely battered lesser opposition, and it's impossible not to compare and contrast.
Of course you do. And the fact of the matter is, England are well within their rights to compare against the Portugals, the Spains, teams like that, the Frances, because that is now the level that they are competing. Some would say, myself included, they're still a little bit short of the Frances and the Spains, but they're certainly competing at that level, and that's where you'll be judged.
Yeah. Gary in Inverurie says, Ali, are you sure England won the World Cup in 1966? They've never mentioned it since. Thank you very much, Gary. Look, you've got to move on. The Manchester United goalkeeper Andre Onana might be moving on as well. Reports are that he's heading for Turkey on a loan deal. Of course, United are bringing in the young Belgian goalkeeper Seny Lammens, paving the way for Onana's exit to Trabzonspor. Let's get more now on Manchester United's goalkeeping situation with the former United goalkeeper, Raymond van der Houw. Morning, Raymond.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Yeah,
very well, Raymond. Thank you.
Very, very good. Look, Onana off to Turkey. Is that a good move for Manchester United or not?
I think you have to look at the goalkeeper. I think the most important thing is it a good move for Onana? He's under a big pressure, so maybe it's a good move to go to another club, to go on loan and find his form back.
Raymond, tell me, how different is it at this moment in time and for the last couple of seasons being a Manchester United goalkeeper? And the reason I'm asking that, because generally speaking, Manchester United are in top for, when they're that period with a great side in particular, and they would dominate games. And the one thing the Manchester United goalkeeper had to do was be 100% focused, totally alert, because a save, a chance for the opposition would come at some point during the game. Nowadays, I would think the Manchester United goalkeeper is far more busier than normal.
If you compare those things, then I think you're right. But the game has changed. The game for a goalkeeper has changed. The pressure is higher. And I also think that social media does help for the goalkeeper because everything will be analysed. And that makes it more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. They've brought in the boy from Royal Antwerp, Seny Lammens. Now, He's a 23-year-old, and he plays in front of crowds of 12,000 or so at the moment.
Yeah.
How difficult is he going to find the transition to playing in front of Old Trafford crowds?
Yeah, that's a massive difference. First of all, Man United is much bigger. The expectation is bigger. And everybody is now looking over his shoulder because the other goalkeepers, they didn't do it so well. So he has to do it well. Otherwise, he will be in trouble.
Tell me about coaching young goalkeepers now, Rem. If you got bringing young goalkeepers through, how important is it now? Well, clearly it's going to be very important that they handle the ball with their feet, because I think, with the greatest respect, some of the goalkeepers I played with back in the day were fantastic goalkeepers and did exactly what you wanted them to do, and that was save the ball. But youngsters nowadays, I would imagine, having to get coached with their feet as well.
Yes, well, that's what I mean. The game has changed. For a goalkeeper, shot stopping is still the same, but they also expect that you can play the ball with your feet and read the game and know the tactic of the manager. And that's not easy. So it's you have to be more complete. If you look at Manchester City, they bought a goalkeeper who is very good with the feet. And now they took Donnarumma. In the beginning, they said he's not so good with his feet, but he's the best shot stopper you can have. And now they make the decision to buy him. And so you can see there's a little bit movement in the way of, you have to be good with your feet, but the shot stopping is getting more important as well. And to guide those young goalkeepers, I think that's very important, because the pressure is enormous.
I mean, bearing in mind that sort of pressure then, Raymond, were you a bit surprised that United didn't go for Emi Martinez, who made no secret of the fact that he wanted to go to United?
I followed a little bit the rumours, yes, and I expected that Martinez would go because, he is a fantastic goalkeeper. He does have the experience. He knows the English league. He knows what it is to win. Yeah, of course, he's a little bit crazy sometimes, but I think that makes him also, that gives him a certain personality. I thought he would suit perfect for Man United, but they made a different decision.
Ramon, tell me, Dutch national side at the moment, did a 1-1 draw with Poland earlier in the week. I think it was Thursday. How are the Dutch looking at this moment in time?
Everybody is positive, but they expected a little bit more because they won the game. But against Poland it was 1-1.
Yeah.
But the next game they won. But they are not very happy the way Holland played. But come on, this is qualification. The most important thing is that you qualified for the World Cup, and you don't have to be informed now. The most important thing is when the tournament starts. Then that's the point when you have to be informed.
Raymond, thank you very much for taking the time this morning.
Thanks for your time, mate.
You're welcome. All the best and good luck for the show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
It's funny that, because I looked at that. Obviously, Poland, a good result against Finland. They won 3-2 against Lithuania away. And it's a funny one. I've been to Lithuania, and it's one of these places you just want to get in, you want to get a result, and you want to get out. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, really? I thought it was meant to be, a sort of tourist haunt.
Nah, not for me. For me. You get in places you just want to get in, get a result, and get back out again.
Oh, there's not enough fishing for you, is there? So let's take a look ahead to the next hour of the show with Benchmarks, part of Travis Perkins.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Benchmarks Kitchens and Joinery. Get trade prices on kitchens to suit all styles and budgets at Benchmarks.
Well, we've talked a lot of England, but what about Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and the Republic? We're calling on fans of you to phone up the show and let us know why your country will be in the United States next summer. 03717 223344. Get your calls in, we're taking them. And we're dipping our toes into the EFL next. Oldham manager Mickey Mellon joins us after his son Michael bagged the winning goal for Oldham at the weekend on his debut. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins Hire.
Superstar Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. With 250 hire branches nationwide, it's easy to hire at Travis Perkins.
Good morning, 8:51, Monday, September the 8th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ally McCoist is with me. Championship and the Premier League, of course, on international breaks, but Leagues 1 and 2 continued over the weekend. Plenty of big headlines. The one we're going to focus on at the moment revolves around Oldham Athletic. Leyton Orient fans, don't you worry. I'm going to mention Charlie Wellens in a moment or two. But Mickey Mellon, the manager of Oldham, was still searching for his first win of the season, promoted from the National League last season, of course. So to help him, he drafted in his son, Michael Mellon, on loan from Burnley. And on his debut, would you believe it, Mickey's son Michael popped up and scored away from home at Cambridge to snatch a 1-0 win. First victory of the season for his dad's team. And I'm pleased to say that Mickey joins us now. Morning, Mickey.
Morning, Mickey. How are you?
I'm great, thanks, guys. How are you?
Yeah,
mate.
Good, mate. Hey, what a moment for the family when that went in.
Oh, yeah, it was. I won't lie, it's certainly a different experience, but it was. We really enjoyed it.
Never mind. Have you got any more boys like that, Mickey?
I wish I had another 10.
How did the move first of all come along? You just obviously needed strengthening. Did you ask him? You didn't tap him up, did you, in the house?
Over Sunday lunch. No, we finished last season, Ali, and we knew that we needed a goal scorer. But it's been about 5 weeks and to trying to get it across the line. It's been hard work, but we eventually managed to do it. And he was definitely the type of player that we wanted to bring into the group. It wasn't just because it was my son, because I wouldn't have taken that amount of grief off his mother if it wasn't loyal. But no, we wanted that type of player, and he fitted the bill. So we're delighted to have him on board.
Is it difficult, Mickey, not to treat him differently from the rest of the squad?
I won't lie, it's a new experience for me. I've been a manager for a long time, Jeff, and when it first happened, it was strange because I just kept. You sort of look at them all because all the players and they all become a part of you because they represent you to try and win games, and then you just kind of looked and you went, "Oh, there's Michael." He sort of was in and among them. But no, you have a chat with the lads before, and you say, "Won't be treated any different to any yous. If he plays well, he plays. If he doesn't, he'll struggle to stay in the team." So it's all about the team trying to win. So you've just got to focus on that. It's about the team.
Good win, obviously. I mean, it's you're sitting 17. Season's just started, Mickey. What are your hopes for the season? How have you seen it so far?
We needed a goal scorer. I think everybody would say that. We've created a hell of a lot of chances. We've played really well. We've lost 2 games, but I can honestly say to you that in a lot of the games we should have got better results. We missed a goal scorer. And now hopefully we've got that goal scorer. We can start to turn the draws into victories and start climbing that table and having a poke at the playoffs.
I think the big question here, Mickey, is, your boy scores the goal for you. It turns out to be the winning goal as well. And you sub him after 57 minutes. What did he say to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question his mother asked me. He's not had any pre-season. He really hasn't done any pre-season. and he's really shot a fitness, which is great for us because there's still a lot more to come from him. But we're delighted that we've got a goal scorer in our ranks, and it's exciting.
Just one more quick one, Mickey, on that. It's quite tough for Michael, isn't it? Because you know what football fans are like. If he's not performing, people are going to say, he's in the side because of his dad.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a hell of a lot to think about. It's a massive learning curve for me as a manager with nearly 800 games under my belt, that suddenly I've got this big learning curve to deal with. But I'll deal with it and we'll get on with it. And the thing that we'll focus on, Jeff, is if he doesn't play well like every other player and he isn't doing his job, then he won't play. It's as simple as that. And as long as we're all focused on that and everybody understands that that's how we will deal with stuff, we'll be okay. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking more optimistically, more excited than pessimistically about it.
Yeah,
it's great. I've got the opportunity to manage my son. Who wouldn't want to do that?
Of course you would. Mickey, and I'm just thinking here as well. I'm thinking myself, and I'm understanding and quite right, we're asking you about your side of it. But from his side as well, it must be really, really strange, Mickey. Do you know what I mean? Obviously having his dad manage the team. I was just thinking, I was a wee laugh to myself. Throughout my career, I get substituted by them all, by the way. Every one of them, but I never get taken off by my dad, I must admit. That's one thing.
Brilliant. Hey, Mickey, look, good luck, mate. We want you to make a success of the stepper from the National League, the Football League, and doing okay at the moment.
Thank you very much, guys, and thanks. It was lovely to talk to you. Thank you.
Cheers,
Thanks, Mickey. All the best.
Take care, mate. And I mentioned the Leyton Orient. I mentioned it earlier. I'm going to mention it again because it's bizarre, that Michael Mellon scores for his dad, Mickey, on Saturday.
Brilliant.
His first goal on his debut for Oldham. But at Port Vale, Charlie Wellens scored a 95th minute winner for Leyton Orient. And if the name is familiar, it's because his dad, Richie Wellens, is the Leyton Orient manager. And Charlie's 22, came off the bench after 79 minutes. It's his first league goal for
It's great.
Leyton Orient. I mean, it's impossible to write that, is it?
No.
Two managers' sons would score key goals.
You and I are just a couple of old romantic fools. We really are. We love that wee story, and we love that one about the Swedish team winning the league.
We did.
It's great.
Less romance revolving around England, of course. Paul has texted and said, lads, in the last Euros, every pundit agreed that with Harry Kane up front, England were too ponderous. When Ivan Toney came on, they moved the ball faster, created more chances and progressed to the final, losing narrowly to Spain. 18 months later, England wobbled to a 2-0 win over Andorra, and Toney is outscoring Ronaldo but hasn't had a cap since Tuchel took over. Win the World Cup 2026, there's more chance of Spurs winning the Premier League. Oh, ouch, says Paul, who may well be an Arsenal fan, but I'm not too sure. But anyway, brilliant for Mickey Mellon and the great lad, and he talks about him with such a affection.
So he should,
absolutely brilliant. 8:58. Up next, we're discussing whether Jude Bellingham is England's saviour or a hindrance. I seem to recall he scored the only goal, the winning goal against Serbia in the finals of the Euros. I'm not sure how he can be a hindrance. Stuart Pearce and the team talked over that at the weekend.
At the moment, we think leaving Jude Bellingham out of the team would be outlandish. But for the greater good, if it's the right thing to do, it's always the right thing to do.
wondered why Erling Haaland scores a hat-trick instead of just 3 goals? Why Darwin Núñez is said to have missed a sitter rather than just missing a really easy shot? Or why on earth defenders are said to park the bus? Let's break down some of our favourite football cliches. First, let's talk hat-tricks. The term comes from cricket back in the 1800s. Any bowler who managed to get 3 successive wickets used to be rewarded with a hat from their club. Next up, if you see a skillful tackle, an athletic save or a 40-yard screamer, you might say these things are out the top drawer. That's because back in Victorian times, if you had wealth, valuable stuff, you kept it in the top drawer of your dresser, so loaded families became known as top drawer. Remember the last time your team left you feeling as sick as a parrot? The image of the sick bird is thought to come from a classic British comedy moment, Monty Python's Dead Parrot sketch, but the phrase was first used in football by Liverpool defender Phil Thompson. He supposedly said it after Liverpool lost to Nottingham Forest in the 1978 League Cup final. Forest won thanks to a controversial penalty given away by a Thompson foul, even though it was actually outside the box. Poor guy said he felt sick as a parrot afterwards. Is there anything more embarrassing than a nutmeg in football? Weird name, but it's actually related to the trading of nutmeg, the spice. It was so expensive back in the day that corrupt exporters used to try and mix in a bit of wood in with the nutmeg to cut their costs. The term soon became slang. If you were nutmegged, it was because the person you were buying off had pulled a fast one on you. Jose Mourinho brought a lot of things to English football, and seems like one of those was the phrase park the bus. He used it after his Chelsea side had been held to a goalless draw by Spurs in 2004. Tottenham had been extremely defensive, not trying to score, but making sure Chelsea couldn't either. Mourinho actually said, "They brought the bus and left the bus in front of the goal," as we say in my country. Finally, another phrase that actually comes from cricket. Footballers are said to have missed a sitter if they miss an easy chance. In the late 19th century, it was used in cricket to describe a moment when a fielder failed to take a catch which was so easy they should have been able to catch it sitting down. So there you have it, some of your favourite footballing cliches. And if you think this video is all over, well, it is now.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. Get the UK's best used car deals guaranteed. Millwall fans said we had 2 English professional leagues worth of games this weekend, Leagues 1 and 2. Packed out grounds full of supporters who probably listen to talkSPORT. These games have barely been spoken about this morning. We don't care about Jude's dad. Well, Mr. Millwall fan, you've not just heard Mickey Mellon 2 minutes ago talking about Oldham. I was talking about Leyton Orient as well. Earlier in the day, we talked about the National League. We talked about Scunthorpe having 2 abandonments. We have talked about it pretty much
Forest Green Rovers
all morning. We talked about Forest Green Rovers having a fortuitous win. I'm only kidding, Saf. I'm only kidding. Fortuitous win over the mighty Hartlepool at the weekend. So we have talked about it. But thank you very much indeed for the text. Still on the way for this morning, Fraser Clark will be with us to look ahead to Jez Parker and Fabio Wardley in October. It's live on talkSPORT from the O2. Both fighters, by the way, will be live in the studio together later on Wynton Jordan.
Brilliant.
And talkSPORT's England correspondent Faye Carruthers will set the scene from us live from Serbia ahead of tomorrow's qualifier in Belgrade. Now, though, after another dull performance from Thomas Tuchel's side, are these the 2 players to elevate England?
Rice trying to flick it on. Gay, he can. Oh, it's in! Unbelievable! Jude Bellingham overhead kick has spared all the blushes in the world.
Grealish on to De Bruyne, down the left, back into Grealish, it's 4-1! De Bruyne celebrates, but it's Grealish who takes the acclaim. A man of the match performance, capped with a terrific goal.
Yeah, Jude Bellingham missing with a shoulder problem at the moment. Grealish didn't make the squad despite a positive start to his Everton career. Now, the former England captain Stuart Pearce suggested that actually leaving out Jude Bellingham could be better for the team. Have a listen to this.
At the moment, we think leaving Jude Bellingham out of the team would be outlandish. But for the greater good, if it's the right thing to do, it's always the right thing to do.
Well, I don't know. Jude Bellingham, you heard Perry Groves in the news saying if Bellingham's not fit, we won't win the next World Cup. So who's right, Piercy or Grovesy?
Piercy. I think where I disagreed with Grovesy was when he said the England players will accept it. No, they won't. They won't accept it. If you're Lionel Messi, they might accept it. If you're Ronaldo, they might accept it. They still won't like it. They won't like it. But you look at that England team, there's no out-and-out superstars that should deserve any special treatment. You could argue, quite correctly, that nobody within the team should deserve any special treatment. But you get it. I get it. Guys like Messi are completely different, right?
But when Bellingham's in that England team, he works his socks off.
Of course he does. Yeah. And I think they're a better team with him in it. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But if they're suggesting there's one or two problems, in and around the squad, that's for the greater good of the team. That cannot be allowed to happen.
Yeah. I find it intriguing that those suggestions come out when he's not part of the squad.
Yeah, that's a bit strange, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was a bit strange. No, Jeff, England are a better side. We'll fit Bellingham in it when he's playing well. There's no doubt about that. What I think they've missed at the weekend, and they've missed for a while now, as I've mentioned earlier, a bit of quality in wide areas to go and take people on and beat people. But I don't think... the saying is there's no one man greater in a team, and that should always be the case. But that's where I disagree a little bit with Grovesy. I don't think I've been in and around enough dressing rooms as a player and as a coach, as a manager, to think players, generally speaking, do not like anybody being treated differently.
Okay. Let's take a call from a Liverpool and England fan. David's on the line. Morning, David.
Good morning, David.
Morning, chaps. How are we?
Very well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm very well, very well. Just posing a question. She talks about England and listen to it all the morning. Guys, how many world-class players do you think we've got? I'm not talking potentially world-class players. I'm talking actual world-class players. Because if you look at some of the opposition, the French, the Spanish, and teams in the past, we're expecting as a country our team to go and win the Europeans or the World Cup. But how many world-class players?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Me and the lads were talking out the weekend in the football club, and we reckon we've got one.
Who is?
One world class. If he's got goalkeeper, world class, no. Fullback, no. Take Trent, for example. Trent's a great footballer, but is he a world class fullback? Not a chance, and I'm a Liverpool fan.
So who is the world class player then?
Oh, well, man, let's try and have a guess at it, right? Before you answer it. Your world class player. Oh, dear me. Well, there's an argument, Harry Kane, surely. Harry Kane would come into the equation.
That's the only one we could come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, well, you look at his record.
Declan Rice.
That's the next one I was going to throw at you, funnily enough, David. I was going to throw Declan Rice at you.
He's potentially a world-class player. What's he won? Nothing. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the potential to be a world-class player.
Yeah,
Same as Jude Bellingham. Young, fantastic footballer. But he's got the potential to be a world-class player. He's not world-class. He's not a Zidane.
Yeah.
He's not a Gerrard.
Yeah. I'm a sceptic when you say what's he won, because very few players win very much. Declan Rice is going to go and win things during the course of his career.
Yeah, but I do take David's point.
Yeah, I take your point as well. And when with Bellingham as well, I would have suggested Bellingham's world class at his very best, and we haven't seen him at his very best often enough.
David, what do you think? What do you think's holding England back? Is it as simple as you say? You don't have enough world class players.
Yeah, Well, there's an element of that, and that's the Premier League, isn't it? Because we have so many foreign players. But we talked earlier on about wide players. And you're absolutely 100%. I played semi-pro and I managed teams. I used to play free up front 15, 20 years ago, but I always had quick lads who would go past people and get balls in the box. I don't want you cutting in. Yeah. But freedom, I think freedom is the big thing. Somehow, for whatever reason, we've got these wonderful footballers, but they don't feel like they've got any freedom.
Yeah, I think you're spot on.
Again, I go back to the point. If you talk about like domestic football, like the Premier League, the Spanish teams, the teams that win the Champions League and things like that, every one of those teams has got 4 or 5 world-class players in their side.
Yeah.
And we have one. So we have this expectation we're going to win something. Really, lads, we're not, are we?
David, thank you very much indeed.
Good call, David. Good call, mate.
Bye.
Thanks, mate. Look, we did say we'd touch on the other nations as well, the other home nations. Yep. Watched Northern Ireland last night. Obviously, they had a good win in Luxembourg, and they were by no means disgraced. And I think it's Slovakia at home next for them as a must-win game.
Absolutely got to win that one. I know Wales actually won. Was it Kazakhstan they won?
Yeah, it was a big win for them as well. It wasn't easy for them out there.
And they're probably had a draw with Hungary, unless I'm mistaken. I think they're 2-2 with Hungary. Yeah, but no, I agree with you. I think I like the way Michael sets up his team, and there's some good young ones coming through there. We're going to be brutally honest. Do we really expect Northern Ireland to win that group with Germany and Slovakia? Probably not.
No.
But we just want to give them a decent account of themselves, and they look as though they're doing that very much.
Yeah, very much. I mean, look, we'd love to have Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and the Republic all going to the States. After all, there will be a lot of sides in that World Cup in the States. So, we'd very much like more of our home nations to be part of that. Let's take another call. Peter is a Rangers and Northern Ireland fan. Morning, Peter.
Morning, Peter.
Good morning, guys. Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. Ali, pleasure to be talking to you. Grew up idolising you as a Rangers fan.
Thanks, Peter. Lovely to talk to you, mate.
Listen, I think you've more or less answered my question there, Ali. I was looking to gauge your thoughts on the possibility of Northern Ireland maybe getting thereabouts. A fantastic win on Thursday night against Luxembourg. And then last night, let's face it, we gave Germany a scare up until half-time. Isaac Price with that I describe as world-class finish, side-footed volley from a corner kick into the back of the net against one of the top nations in the world.
I tell you, a lot of good performances as well, Yeah. I mean, Conor Bradley and Devaney, Shea Charles, I thought they were all terrific.
That's it. Your previous caller there, talking about the world-class players that England possibly have that they can pick from. We have got a team based predominantly in the Championship. We've got the likes of Trey Hume, Conor Bradley. We're blessed to have the likes of Conor Bradley. But, with the pool of players we have, under Michael O'Neill, who is always an advocate for believe in yourselves, belief. Who knows? The 2 home games at Windsor Park, which, let's face it, no other team likes to go to. 20 years ago yesterday, England fell foul to that.
Wee Healy.
You just never know. And, the Northern Ireland support at home, the way we play, the way we're set up, we could possibly, I'm not saying it's written or it's nailed on, but come on, guys, do you think we'll have any sort of chance?
Of course you do.
Those next 2 games are massive.
Absolutely, Peter. I really think you've got a great coach, a great manager. I think Michael's doing a terrific job. I genuinely do. And if you get that old stadium buzzing, which I'm sure it will be, of course you've got a chance, mate.
Yeah. No, because we've had great results there in the past. As I say, 20 years ago yesterday, England, Spain fell fouler, David Healy hat-trick. Germany's coming up next, Slovakia then Germany. Come on, the Green Mile Army, we can do it. Hopefully, you never know.
Brilliant.
Yeah, good lad. Peter, thanks very much.
Best of luck, Peter.
Thank you.
Jerry Armstrong was part of the commentary team last night, or the pundits.
Remember Jerry?
Oh, well, can never forget, the World Cup and Jerry Armstrong.
Incredible, wasn't it? Where was that game played? Was it Seville? I know, wasn't it Madrid? They beat them 1-0, didn't they? I remember that great side, Jimmy Nicol.
Yeah.
Gary Armstrong, Big Billy Hamilton.
Wonderful.
Sammy McElroy, all those boys. Brilliant lads, eh?
Oh, Jerry's a great lad. Great lad. Up next, we'll get British heavyweight Fraser Clark's thoughts ahead of Joseph Parker against Fabio Wardley and his own big fight as well. Live on talkSPORT on the 25th of October. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling with Ally McCoist. 9:21. We're playing this, of course, because Our biggest competition to date is live, and we're giving you the chance to win Oasis tickets plus a whopping 25 grand. Very nice. 2 lucky winners, not 1 but 2, will win a pair of Oasis tickets when they return to Wembley on September 27th. That's not all. Alongside the tickets, we're giving you the chance to win a whopping 25 grand. For all the details on how to enter this amazing competition, listen up right now.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
And the very best of luck to you with that. Now, boxing fans, listen up. Unbeaten British heavyweight Fabio Wardley will take on the former world champion Joseph Parker at the O2 on the 25th of October. Wardley is the WBA interim champion. He has 18 stoppages in his 19 pro fights. Of course, Parker held the full WBO world title between 2016 and 2018, and the winner of this fight will almost certainly earn a world title shot. Both Parker and Wardley will be live in the studio with White and Jordan later this morning, but joining us now, a man who's fought Fabio Wardley twice, heavyweight Fraser Clark. Morning, Fraser.
Fraser, good morning.
Morning, lads. Morning.
Fraser, we'll talk about your British title fight in a moment or two, but look, as far as Fabio Wardley's goes, he's done nothing wrong, has he? Absolutely nothing wrong. But how much of a step up in level is this for him? Because Parker's elite level, isn't he?
Yeah, you look at the people that Parker's been in with, he's very experienced and he's a great fighter. Going into this fight, in terms of form, they're both in really good form. But you got to say on performances, Joseph Parker's pulled out some great performances against, your likes of Zhang, Deontay Wilder, Martin Bakole. He's in red-hot form. But then again, you've got Fabio Wardley, who you just can't deny, you can't write him off because at any time, he's dangerous.
Certainly deserves his crack. It's a fight I'm looking forward to, Fraser. Fraser, tell me, I'm looking at somebody like Usyk, and you get sports men and women come round of generations, and they whether it's tennis or golf or certainly boxing, Usyk looks to me as though he's got this kind of air of invincibility about him. I mean, can you really see any weaknesses in him at all?
I mean, we've all spoke about the size for a long time, haven't we?
Yeah.
And that could be a weakness, but he seems to find a way around it and uses his strengths with his speed, his agility, and his boxing brain. So, for me, he's just the best of the generation by far, and he even goes into the list of probably the top 5 best heavyweights of all time, I believe. So, no, I believe he's leaps and bounds above everyone. But listen, this is heavyweight boxing, and you're always just one punch away.
Yeah. Obviously, you've been in with Fabio Wardley on a couple of occasions. What are his biggest qualities?
Well, you don't need me to tell you nothing more than he can punch very hard. You only have to ask my face. Yeah, he can really bang. And he's gritty. He's tough and he's gritty. That's definitely his strengths. But then again, so is Joseph Park. Very, very, very tough, very durable, very good boxing brain. It's a cracking fight, though. It just it's going to have everyone, just on the edge of their seat. I can already see it. What we're going for: will Fabio be losing the fight again and come back, or is Joseph Parker too cute, too experienced, and know too much? It's you're on the edge of the seat kind of decision.
And how are you feeling yourself? You're looking in good shape.
I feel great. I'm excited. Hopefully have some news for everyone in the next couple of days. Of a date and a time and a place, but listen, I'm ready. I'm chomping at the bit. British title fight coming up. Yeah, I can't wait.
How important is a British title, Fraser?
Well, so important for me that I've gone for it twice. I boxed Fabio twice for it, and it's just something you want to get your hands on. It means something. This isn't like anything else. It's a beautiful title, first of all, to look at. It's prestigious, and listen, it's just the general next step for me in my career. If I want to get to where I want to get to, this British title, I feel like it's something I need to tick off.
Fraser, tell me, mate, and I'm almost apologising for bringing it up, but news at the weekend. I'm watching, and there's another exhibition match, Mayweather versus Tyson. You know, and I've got to say to you, mate, I love those guys. I still do love those guys. They've given me some of my best memories in boxing. Yeah. But mate, I don't want to see this. I mean, where do you sit in it?
I'm exactly the same. I laughed when I seen it. I thought it was a joke. But I think, judging on this one compared to all the other exhibitions, this has to be pure exhibition, almost pantomime stuff. This one, because you know, like you said, these are two guys with unbelievable legacies, great fighters. People look up to them. I just don't see what anyone gains from this other than a bag full of money, which you can't knock them for. But this isn't boxing. This is like I say, it's pantomime stuff from two greats, two legends. I wouldn't call it a fight. I don't think it'd be a fight.
Fraser, thanks very much, mate.
Best of luck, mate. Good to see you.
You too, lads. Take care.
Back with football. Dave has got some selective hearing. He says, thanks. I think you're all proving Mark Bellingham's point. Why he's pulling Jude out of media, Jude. His lad didn't even play. And he's got the headlines, classic British media, build him up to knock him down. Well, Dave, I was saying, I think he's potentially world class. And when he gets an England shirt on, he works his socks off. But you choose to hear what you want to hear, mate. But anyway, Phil, the Liverpool fan, says, Jeff saying Bellingham is world class at his best, but he's not at his best nearly enough. And that means he's not world-class. Take your point, Phil. Truly world-class players show their best week in, week out, which is what makes them world-class.
I get it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Lots of views on what is world-class and what isn't world-class. How many world-class players do England have? How many world-class players do other nations have as well? Plenty of you wanting to have your say on which England players are truly world-class. We'll take your calls and we'll cross to Belgrade next.
When was the last time you saw someone score with a knuckleball free kick? We're going to take a look at why we're not seeing them anymore and explain a bit about how they work. The knuckleball peaked in the 2010s after that Ronaldo strike against Portsmouth in 2008 inspired academy players everywhere. Here's a young Mason Mount.
I tried to base my free kick on Ronaldo, hit the ball by the valve and it moves. So what do you do? Top corner.
Now, no ball is perfectly aerodynamic, so as it travels it creates ever-changing pockets of turbulent air, causing that unpredictable movement. Football's most prolific free-kick taker, Juninho Pernambucano, perfected the technique but didn't invent it. He was inspired by players from the 90s and even the 50s. So how do you do it? You have to hit the ball head-on with as short a contact time as possible so the ball doesn't spin. Hitting by the valve helps with that short contact time, as it's the hardest part of the football. So why don't we see knuckleballs much anymore? It's because players are being told not to shoot from dead ball situations because the XG is so low. In fact, as Opta shows here, since the 08-09 season there's been a 10% reduction in players shooting from free kicks in the Premier League. And in 23-24, a record low of 11 free kicks found the back of the net. And the knuckleball, though spectacular, is imprecise, which is why it's becoming a thing of the past.
Good morning, 9:33. It is Monday, September the 8th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and Arnold Clark. Gets £750 off any used electric car or home charger. Phil, who's a Southampton fan, says Greece won the Euros without any world-class players. And Smithy says, morning, Jeff and Ali. I think England are the epitome of saying form is temporary, class is permanent. We are just not world-class consistently enough. And I don't think there's any argument about that, even though we reached the final of the Euros, didn't play particularly well during the course of it. Back to the phone lines. Ray is in England and a West Ham fan. Let's speak to him now. Morning, Ray.
Morning, Ray.
Morning, chaps. I disagree with Piercy and Alan about Bellingham. I think that we should build a team around him. He's been, he's 21 years old. He's playing at the top level. All his football's been at a high level. And I just think that if he was in the Spanish team, he'd be like one of their best players behind the front man. He'd be playing in a 10. We need just one holding player, two number 10s, like Foden, Bellingham, or the Chelsea boy Palmer and Bellingham, and we need Kane getting support. Inverted wingers are ruining strikers. They're ruining them. They don't get the ball to them quick enough. They make all their own chances. You know, they score goals, fair enough, but they don't supply the strikers enough. And to me, Kane is class, but he needs support. He needs the ball getting into him. He'll finish from any angle in any position in the box.
I don't disagree with you, mate. I don't disagree with you. Here's my next question here. I just said to Jeff in the break there, we're talking about Cole Palmer and some of the excellent English players. And I effectively said to him, how many of them getting to the Spanish team? Not too many, is there?
Well, you put Cole Palmer, like say, he's an individual player, same as Moore's Bellingham, but they have got the quality to open up defences. We worry too much about, we've got 5 players going forward. If you look at that 5, if you include Rashford or Grealish or Saka and Palmer, Bellingham, Foden, Kane, whatever 5 you put there, with Declan Rice behind them, they're good enough to beat any team. It's letting them play and letting them express themselves. We don't do it. We sit there, take 25 passes to get the ball to no one who passes it back again. They don't take players on, they don't go past players. And we have got quality in our team.
It's a recurring theme, Ray, from what we're hearing, and I'm hearing it from my right hand side from Jeff as well. The major complaint, seemingly, from the English fans about the English team is they're not getting allowed to let them go and to go and express themselves.
You look at the Spain boy. As soon as he gets the ball, how old is he? 18, the Mel.
Yes,
incredible. He would take a beat teams on his own every time he picks the ball up.
Yeah, no.
But we've got players like that. Saka, Bowen's good enough to do that. He goes past people.
Yeah, dead right, Ray. But a lot of people want to see Jared Bowen on that pitch.
Me included. Me
included as well. We're talking world-class players, I'm just thinking about the Germany side that played Northern Ireland last night. And I would say Florian Wirtz, nobody else.
Oh, I agree with you. However, they're maybe going through a wee period.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about one of, if not the most successful European
teams. I'm looking around European teams. I mean, Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne, past his best.
Correct.
I would say they're only world-class players. Courtois, probably as well, in terms of goalkeeping.
I think Belgium will dip.
Yeah.
I really do, because I think they've had that purple period with some fantastic players. I bring Hazard into the equation. They've had a wonderful, wonderful team. But I think with countries like Belgium, it's maybe once in a generation. And whereas with Germany, for example, they're going through a phase. Yes, they're not anything like they're not a normal German side, but they have always just kept producing sides that win things and compete.
No, they do. But just banging on about the world. I mean, look at the Spain side that won in Turkey. Okay, so Simon in goal. Stop me when we get world class. Simon in goal. Pedro Porro, Robin Lenormand, Dean Howson, Mark Cucurella, Mikel Merino, Pedri, Martin Zubimendi, Lamine Yamal, Oyarzabal, and Nico Williams. Now,
no, I know what you're going to say.
There's not too many there that jump out to you as world class.
No,
obviously
you're
Yamal
right.
does.
But what they've got is players that can dramatically influence and change a game in a split second.
Yeah.
I'm not sure England have got many of them.
They also had somebody on the bench who'd be described as world class, I think, as well as Rodri.
Of course.
Who came on as a substitute. Just to clarify, by the way, Stuart Pearce didn't necessarily say that England are a worse team without Bellingham.
Oh, he didn't, no.
Just that Thomas Tuchel has to do what's best for the team, as does every
England manager. Of course he does. And Pearce is 100% correct.
Look, things are going to get a lot tougher for Thomas Tuchel. They travel to Serbia in what's on paper unquestionably the toughest qualification game for England. Let's get a bit more on the match. Let's cross over to Belgrade and say a very good morning to talkSPORT's England correspondent Faye Carruthers. Morning, Faye.
Faye, how are you?
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. I'm very well, thank you. I hope you both are as well.
Yeah.
We're in great form.
We are. We're all obviously slightly concerned about what the atmosphere will be like tonight and how England will cope with what is going to be a bear pit.
Yeah, I mean, look, coming out to Serbia is not something necessarily on many people's bucket lists in terms of football because of the reputation that the Serbian fans have. The Serbian FA has actually put out a statement to their fans asking them, for the love of football, basically, let's respect our opponents. Whether or not that will happen or not, I don't know. They've already been fined and got 15% less capacity for the Serbian fans ahead of tomorrow night's game because of discretions that they've had in their game against Andorra back in June. So it's going to be an interesting game. I remember back in Gelsenkirchen in the opening match of Euro 2024 when England played Serbia, I was pitchside right in front of the Serbian fans and got hit by a bottle just before I went on air, which was quite unpleasant. And additionally, again, it all kicked off when Jude Bellingham scored England's only goal of the game. So I don't think anybody's relishing, a particularly friendly atmosphere, but this is the kind of atmosphere that the England players are going to have to deal with. I understand as well that the players were going to meet and discuss what they would do if there was any racist chanting coming from the stands, and we'll find out this evening when England land around about 7 p.m. local time tonight after they've trained in the next hour at St George's Park. They'll head here later on this afternoon and into the early evening Serbia time, and we'll hear from Thomas Tuchel and a player and see what's come of those talks.
Very early. Faye, I know, but obviously there's a level of criticism and disappointment from some of the England fans because they wanted to see 5, 6, 7 against Andorra. Right, I get all that. And you mentioned the atmosphere tonight. Certainly, I've been there a couple of times, and it's probably the most volatile surroundings I've played in and coached in. But at that same time, players, generally speaking, do enjoy that, and they can get themselves up for it. You seen many changes to the side?
I think he's going to. Well, he has to go strong. It's the toughest game in the group. Serbia are 5 points behind England in qualifying, but they've got a game in hand additionally, so it's going to be tough. And we saw how tough it was out in Germany in Euro 2024. So. Strong, definitely. I think Elliot Anderson is in with a shout, or certainly that's what Thomas Tuchel had said to me after the game at Villa Park at the weekend, because, you know, this is a different level of opposition. The physicality on the pitch is going to be tricky, as well as the atmosphere in the stadium as well. But he more than showed that he was capable of dealing with it. Told me that he had a few nerves, which you would expect making your England debut, but he could have had a goal as well. And going back to that point of, you know, fans expecting England to beat teams like Andorra 5, 6, 7. It just doesn't happen as much nowadays, particularly the defensive line that they play in a 5-4-1. It's very difficult to break down, but actually England could and should have had more than the 2 goals that they scored at the weekend. They weren't clinical enough. Thomas Tuchel highlighted Berat Chiesa as having had a couple of opportunities. Elliot Anderson himself had a header that he could have scored as well. So I think, you know, a bit more clinical, and England could have put in that statement performance, but it was definitely an improved performance from the one that we saw against Andorra out in Barcelona back in June. And I did think that we got runners in behind the defence. I thought Noni Madueke again had a really good game, as he has done every time he's played for England. Marcus Rashford was getting in behind as well. We had some pace down the wings, so yeah, it's just getting some consistency with that.
Will we be cautious this evening, would you imagine, Faye?
I wouldn't use the word cautious necessarily. It's a totally different opponent, and the physicality of the game is going to be different. But you know, I think they have to create in order to break down these kind of teams. But Serbia actually play with quite a high defensive line, so there are opportunities for runners in behind for England. We've got to take them on. So I don't think would be cagey at all. You have to play the game, obviously. You know, Ali, you know that. Patience is something that England have learnt to have. I know it doesn't always make for the most exciting spectacle for us as fans, but you know, when you do either catch on the counter-attack or manage to break the lines, then you know the floodgates open and Serbia's defence will open a little bit. So yeah, I think could see perhaps a bit of a cagey, patient start. I'd like to use the word patient instead.
Okay. Faye, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Faye. Enjoy.
Thank you. See you later. Thank you.
Luke says, so Bellingham is the latest player we vilify and try and bring down one jab from the media after another. We need to lift up our players. And of course, that's just gone immediately through. We need to lift up our players and let them understand how awesome they are. Bellingham is someone whose ceiling is higher than most as well against Serbia. Now, I walked to the ground with a group of Serbian fans, and they were pleasant, you know. Let's not tar everybody with the same brush. No,
of course we
should. For sure. Faye Carruthers there, talkSPORT's England correspondent, live from Belgrade. The game tomorrow night live on talkSPORT. Up next, we'll ask whether Alan Brazil is the key to the world, finding out why Daniel Levy left his role as Tottenham chairman. Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is with us just for the next 10 minutes or so. My thanks to Billy, Ben, Kessie and the other 100 people who've told me the England game is tomorrow night, not tonight. It was just a slip of the tongue, guys, but thank you so much.
It can happen.
Yeah. Wayne has texted an Arsenal fan. Just want to ask, what has Noni Madueke done in either his Arsenal or Chelsea career to warrant playing for England? Nothing. Rashford's had one good season in 4 or 5 years, done nothing for 2 years and starts. It's a joke. Why is Jared Bowen not starting? He can beat players and he can also finish selection as a joke. On the Jared Bowen thing, I would completely concur.
And so would I.
Sometimes.
So would I.
Yeah.
Why is it that surely it's not a West Ham thing? I mean, in current form, you got to think he's got to come into the
performance week in, week out at the highest level in the Premier League.
Ticks every box.
Ticks every box.
Can finish.
Yeah.
Walks his socks off.
Just love to see him being given the opportunity. The right attitude as well. He's got a great attitude. Let's take another quick call. Ben's an England fan. He wants to rant about Harry Kane.
Oh, here we go.
Morning, Ben.
Morning, Ben.
Good morning, gents. Great show.
Thanks, mate.
Good to talk to you, mate. The floor is yours. Have your rant.
I'm sick of hearing this drab about Harry Kane being world class. He is atrocious, overrated, and probably not in the top 10 England strikers of all time. England were better in the Euros when he wasn't playing. People can't argue with me. If people say he was injured, well, I'm sorry. As England captain, he should have gone, I'm not fit, don't play me. He continued playing. It's all about Harry Kane. I watched it the other night, and there was one point, he was the fourth person into the box when Rashford was crossing. Why is our number 9 not in the box? Why does he keep dropping deep? Is he that arrogant that thinks he can do a better job than Declan Rice and the other boys in the middle? He's so overrated. I don't know what the rave is about him.
Right, well, I don't need to defend Harry Kane, but I'm going to have a wee go, Ben. Right, but where I will agree with you totally, I would have left him out in the European Championships because I don't know if he did have an injury, Ben.
Didn't seem fit,
but he didn't look fit. He didn't look fit, and I would certainly take your point there. But where I would disagree with you, mate, I think he's the best finish you've had in years and years and years. Very difficult to argue with 73 goals and over 100 caps or something like that.
73 and 108.
I just think that's amazing.
We can all score goals against Moldova and Uruguay and anybody else. He doesn't turn up in the big games. The Euros, even back further than that, I remember the Croatia game of the World Cup. Him and Raheem Sterling single-handedly sent England home. It's atrocious. He can score goals against Wales or Montenegro or Andorra.
He scored goals in the Premier League against the best teams in the Premier League, 213 of them for Spurs. And Bayern Munich decided he was good enough for them to want him, and he scored 65 in 65 for them, which is not too shabby.
Bayern Munich also decided to bring some companies right for them. We'll say no more on that, should we?
Well, they're not doing too badly at the moment,
doing
are
all
they?
right. Yeah. Who would you start then, Ben? Who would your number 9 be? Would it be Watkins, Tony? Who would it be?
It's on form. It'd have to be Tony, but he's not done it for long enough. He's not been on form. I would, it would Ollie Watkins or, I don't know if it's the same controversial, it'd have to be Marcus Rashford. Because the way that England play in the counter-attack, and you want your striker to run in behind and get at defence, that's what you want. You don't want your striker 20 yards behind you trying to catch up or play.
Yeah, but I mean, at the weekend, that's the one thing Andorra didn't do. They didn't play with a high line at all. You know, and there'll only be maybe once or twice in that particular game that you'll be able to counter them. I think it suits England to play teams they can counter, but the problem they've got is beating teams like Andorra, where you've got, I'm not saying problem, they will beat teams like Andorra, but you've got to have wide players to break the line and beat defenders.
Ben, thank you very much indeed for the call, mate. A couple of quick texts for you. Ryan says, if Jared Bowen was playing for one of the so-called top 4 teams, he would be the first name on that.
Do you know something?
Team sheet.
He might be, you know.
Yeah.
Which is a sad indictment. So what we're effectively saying is he's not getting a fair crack at the whip because he's at West Ham. That's what we're saying, is it?
Yeah. And Craig, who's an Arsenal fan, has texted as well, said, what's that Arsenal fan about? He says, Noni Madueke was England's best player on Saturday, and I think that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Sick of the hate towards him, and I would say he certainly never let England down when he's been in that England shirt. And yeah, he had some terrific times at Chelsea. You know, okay, it tapered off towards the end, but and George and stuff said, Rashford over Kane, is that last caller okay?
That's a fair point, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're not really taking Rashford to put him with
Now, on Friday's show, Big Alan Brazil was alongside Gabby Agbonlahor and teased only around, 30 times or so that he'd be gathering information on why Daniel Levy has left his role as Spurs chairman. Have a listen.
Sunday, I've got a big summer barbecue down at Newsells, and the owner of the stud down there is a massive Tottenham fan, and he's one of the sort of vice presidents, so they'll know a lot more than me.
Have we spoke to him since that barbecue?
No. He wasn't very informative, though, was he?
No, he wasn't.
To say the least. I thought he was going to tell us, who the next man through the door would be there.
Breaking news. Brazil goes for barbecue on a Sunday. Is that what that was?
Yeah. I mean, I think Big Al thinks that there could potentially be a return from Mauricio Pochettino. But that's not happening, is it?
No,
there's no return for anybody because Thomas Frank is in charge.
Not in the foreseeable future.
I think he'll do fantastically.
No chance. None at all.
For that.
Thomas Frank's just... I saw him actually... he did a lovely message for Natalie because it was Natalie's last show at the weekend. I think she's having a well-earned, well-deserved break at weekends. And I think one of the lads managed to get Thomas Frank to do a wee message, whether it was Instagram or TikTok, whatever it was, and he was great, man. And I think I do know Natalie was made up by it, so that was great.
Getting a lot of response to our last caller, Ben, wasn't it, who said drop Kane for Rashford, who's been on the mushrooms, says Toon.
But the only thing I would say, he did say it was slightly controversial, but it was more than slightly.
Again, we've got another one here saying Kane no good, is that bloke for real? Hilarious, give his head a wobble, and so on and so forth. So
70 odd goals for England.
I know,
record goal scorer. He's 65 and 65 for Bayern Munich. That is just...
It's astonishing.
That's the word to use, astonishing. But I still think he would get more for England if they get deliveries in from wider areas earlier.
Sam agrees with Ben. He said, I completely agree with the caller. Kane is a penalty merchant and a tap-in merchant. I'd have Tony or Watkins starting over Kane any day. Now, I think Ivan Toney's an interesting call because he's out in Saudi at the moment.
Well, if he's not going to pick Bowen playing in West Ham, he's not going to pick... Surely. I mean... I would suggest Jared Bowen.
Well, it's good enough for other countries. Cristiano Ronaldo still starts for Portugal.
Absolutely. I'm not saying it shouldn't be done. But what I'm saying is, if we're making the suggestion that Jared Bowen's not got a game because he's playing with West Ham, surely it fits that Tony will not got a game because he's playing in the Saudi League.
Yeah.
Whether that's the case or not. But I do take the point where I think I would level a little bit of criticism. They should try other number 9s.
Well, even under Gareth, we took people like Ivan Toney to the Euros and he barely got a sniff, which was disappointing because I think, certainly in that tournament, it looked like Harry Kane was carrying an injury.